Count me in. Count me in.
5, 4, 3, 2,
1. Welcome everyone to an all-new edition of the show with the trifecta suplexes, but no flex at all. Leave all that capping at home. We don't leave our caps at home, except for mash out, but that's okay. This is the Three Amigos Show podcast.
Yes, indeed.
So much to talk about with such little time, so let's go. Without any further ado, let's introduce you to the Three Suplexes, a.k.a. our esteemed host of the Three Amigos Show podcast. As always, there's no shook hands in Brooklyn. If you don't know me, I'm just trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. The bottom line is the dollar sign. I'm the intellectual savior to the masses, the underdog, also known as the unchosen one, the brilliant, bright, and always willing to fight, Random Thoughts. Okay, I don't get no applause. That's all right. Hailing originally from Flatbush, Brooklyn. Yes. He was once all in.
Yes.
He still might be double or nothing. Are you ready for that revolution?
Woo, woo. Mr.
Fighting is something you do, where wrestling is something you live. He is the Panamanian God. He is the Mesha King.
Yes. Thank you, fellas.
You're so welcome.
It's a Sunday.
It is a Sunday. Oh, we breaking the 4-4? Is a Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
The Sunday that went ahead of our motherfucker.
Yeah, yes. And I'm losing that hour of sleep. That's what was wrong with my audio. But last and certainly not least, hailing from the concrete jungle, Brooklyn. I just realized we all from Brooklyn. That's crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe even the eastern part, standing at 6'4". He is lyrical, miracle, spiritual, criminal, minimal, bar minimum, aluminum bars, the 10-time New York State Park champion, wrestling champion that is, Big Daddy Cool, Sour Diesel. You must be a heel.
I'm one of the best damn heels there is.
Oh, you got that Bronson Reed pop, no reaction in Brooklyn.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get my Bronson Reed pop.
So you can't hear when I've been playing the sound effects? I mean, on mine? No?
No.
Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah, oh well. But they there in spirit. Without further ado, let's start. We got so much to talk about. As I said, there's so little time. Let's open up, let's light it up, and let's open up the smoking section. Big Daddy Cool, what you got for us this week in the smoking section?
Oh, I got a couple of questions for the one and only Tony Kahn, the book of the year. Yeah, I want to know
because he's tuning in.
Yeah. I want to know if AEW can actually make stars. Is that a good, like, since AEW started, what do you guys think? Can they make stars?
Well,
because I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any lately. I don't.
Well,
when I mean stars, and when I mean stars, like stars for like the main event stars. Like, we have our middle class,
the mid card.
We have
the mid card, yeah.
We have the mid card. I feel like the mid card they got some stars there, right? Mm-hmm. But then
not to cut you, but when you say make stars, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying like that everyone on the roster is not able to be the top guy? That's what you're alluding to?
That's what I mean. Okay. Because like if we look at WWE, right? Remember back in the day, we had a Randy Orton, we had a John Cena, a Edge, a Batista, even the Triple H, all was top guys, right? But I feel like in AEW, we don't get that. We just get MJF or Bryan Danielson. And then after that, who do we have left? We have John Moxley, who's like he's in a feud with Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah.
Right. Then you have Chris Jericho, who's now in a trios match to go for the trios championships. Right. And then who's left after that? And I feel like all the top guys they kind of had was ex WWE guys, right? They never have like really no homegrown top stars, and I want to know why is that. But I'm trying to figure out can they make stars more than.
I mean, it's a Sunday, and I don't want to play devil's advocate here. But in the interest of fairness, you did say back in the day, right? And also now we have these premier stars that anybody can be going for the title over at WWE. However, AEW is only been around for 4 to 5 years. So they have to build that star making quality. As you said, they have a mid card that's good, right? At one point when Hulk Hogan and Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat was, taking over at WWF, we had Bret Hart, we had Shawn Michaels, we had kind of like The Undertaker who came in.
WCW.
Right.
We're taking over at WCW. Because you said at WWF.
No, I mean at WWF. I mean in the golden era, like when they were the big guys, Ultimate Warrior, and then under them you had Bret Hart. They had, Shawn Michaels. They had, maybe even Tatanka, who could have been like a heavyweight, lightweight. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until, for whatever reason, whether it was the steroids or them moving into the new generation, that's when those who were mid-card fighting for the Intercontinental title moved up into the heavyweight championship ring. So I think that AEW has to build that up, right? We have MJF right now. You have Bryan Danielson, who is, yes, an ex-WWE guy, but Bryan Danielson is a wrestler. You understand what I'm saying? He's been in almost every federation, corporation, wrestling company there is out there across the board, except for, I think TNA, Impact Wrestling. So they have to still build that up. I think there's stars there. I think there's stars in Powerhouse Hobbs. I think there's stars in Ricky Starks. I think there's stars in Jade Cargill. I think there are stars in homegrown talent. I think Hangman Adam Page, if he can just open up his mind a little bit, then he too can be actually a star. That's my comment.
He wouldn't be homegrown, Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, I know.
WWE guy, yeah.
Right. But still, he's got his foot, but that's arguable, right? Because he got his fame or like his real clout in AEW. Because then how do we start determining who's homegrown, like, and who's what, especially in a federation like AEW? But Masha, what do you think?
I'm gonna lean on the side of what you were saying earlier about it being a new company, because I do agree they rely heavily on too much outdoor talent. You know what I mean? And I'm not even gonna say outside. I'm just saying outdoor talent, right? And instead of them using the talent they have there, which was my argument when we used to do the last podcast and stuff like that, like build on the current talent. I would love to see Ricky Starks more in the big picture. I would love to see Powerhouse Hobbs, like you just said. Even what's the tag team?
I
feel like they just
Top Flight.
Top Flight. I want to see Top Flight out there a lot more. I just think that Tony relies heavily on himself. So because you rely heavily on yourself, you then start going into it's like a parallel world where you are the only person doing the thoughts. And you got to be able to go outwardly and then speak to the talent you have there in the back. Like I keep saying, you have Jake the Snake Roberts, who's one of the greatest minds in the business of professional wrestling ever, right on your roster, sitting in the back, probably, hopefully not drinking, but sitting in the back, doing absolutely nothing. Use him. You know what I'm saying? Ask him, Jake, who do you think I should move up? Where do you think I should go with this? You got also Arn Anderson, who also helped develop in NXT. He's sitting there. Ask Uncle Arn. You got a plethora of talent in the back. It just only makes sense that you use these people to find out who is the next guy, because Arn Anderson had a lot of hand in developing the next guy. Hell, I would even hire Jim Cornette, because Jim Cornette ran OVW. So I would call him up and see what he's doing. And it's just a matter of putting the pieces together to make it a great wrestling product. Because when they came out the gate, they came out swinging, right? But that's a problem. You know what I mean? I.e. Cannabis and LL. When you come out the gate swinging, okay, what ends up happening is your follow-up has to be crazy, okay? Mm-hmm. Your follow-up has to be crazy. Because if you're in the middle of just talking shit and you have that one hot song, that's it. That's it. And we live in a very fickle world that will lose interest very quickly. And we have seen it in the week-to-week ratings on Rampage and Dynamite.
I mean, you have Mark Henry there, right? He's discovered Bianca Belair.
Yeah, you have Mark Henry.
Exactly. You have Big Show. Like,
you have all these people, but you know what it is? You know what I realized? Tony Khan is just like some of his talent. He don't like to listen to the elders. He wants to do what he wants to do. He wants to do what he wants to do. He's still going through his book of bookings, and he's booking shit the way he want to book. And
Tony Khan is
to go off what you were saying earlier. I do believe in those said stars that you mentioned. Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, and definitely damn sure Jade Cargill. I believe in those people. So, and they're getting somewhere. So won't you take the chance and the risk and put them where they need to be? Now, Powerhouse Hobbs, congratulations to him. He just got the TNT championship. That's good. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. Bravo. I gotta Powerhouse Hobbs. Thank you, my good brother. But other than that, I really don't see nothing else from nobody else. And he has to listen to these people that he's having. Like, how can you have a guy like Jake the Snake Roberts, Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, and you're not using them? You're not. All you're doing is using ex-WWE stars to get eyes on the product. We don't want to see them. I damn sure don't want to see no goddamn John Drunk Moxley. I'm tired of him. All right? He cuts himself every damn week. He has no personality. He's just some stone cold wannabe. He's one of them badass white boy wannabes, and I just be want to just punch him in the face. Just really make his ass bleed. Like,
we understand, man. It's very sad.
What else you got in the smoking section, D?
I still want to go off on this because I'm being a little upset. I'm going on AEW. AEW. Like, at first, I wasn't a watcher of it. I was a little on the fence about it. You know what I mean? Because I was jaded. But I can't lie. They have stars that I love to see. Like, where the hell is Pac or Pac? Neville. Where the fuck is he?
He's there. He's there.
And it's like they get these people and then they start to fizzle them out. You know what I mean? Like, what's these guys' names? I don't want to. What is it? Ray Phoenix and his brother, Quanto Cinieto. Yeah, like where the Death Triangle? Like, why are you not utilizing these people? It's just like they'll get their people, do what they do with them for a couple of weeks or months, and then that's fizzle out. They just as bad as when WWE was doing their booking, everybody was complaining, but nobody's complaining about what AEW is doing. Like, they are producing some crap ass bullshit ass week to week shows, right? But they can put on one hell of a pay per view. I'm gonna give them that. Their pay per views be great, but it's like the weeks before it, you're not doing nothing that makes me say, you know what, Sunday AEW Revolution is coming on, and I gotta get into this because what I just seen Wednesday and Friday, it was enough for me to say, hey, I'm tuning in. But it's never that. It's never that. Either that's one of the way that he books it because he wants to like trick us like he always do, like how he did Wednesday night when he brought out Juice Robinson, and I'm thinking it was going to be because they played the intro, the Bullet Club music. I was like, oh shit, it's going to be Jay White. Jay White made his decision to go to AEW, but no, it was Juice Robinson. They love to play on like he's just as much as WWE. You know what I mean? Like he likes to play around with the fans. Like he likes to play with us, but we never get our nut. You know what I mean? Like he never let us get our nut. Like, come on. Like I'm starting to get into your product now, and you're playing with my feelings.
All right, what's your next one on the list?
Oh man, who's next for MJF? Who do we got? Who do we got now? Now that we think Daniel Bryanson is out of the picture now? Because after that promo, after the match,
it looks like he's going into retirement now.
I can see them maybe because Wardlow lost his title. Maybe they can start moving Wardlow from the TNT picture and moving him into the heavyweight title picture. There's this whole personal story with Wardlow and his father. He lost his hair. He seems to be losing everything, if you ask me. Once he lost that ponytail, he's losing everything. Belt, clothes, everything. But anyhow, maybe they can start moving people up like Wardlow. People that the AEW audience is behind because they have a genuine, like for them. Maybe they change the title name because maybe Orange Cassidy will drop his Bell Atlantic title, International Bell Atlantic title, and start going for the picture. He's been in AEW damn near since the beginning. Is it now time for people that MJF had rivalry with on his way to the title to now have a rivalry with them now that he's the champion? Like freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy.
But is it believable though? At this point, we're freshly squeezed. I'm not saying that Orange Cassidy can't be the guy. I'm not saying that. I think that the fans are behind him, which is kind of strange at times. But I just don't know if he's ready for that stardom just yet. I just don't see it. I really don't. I think that he's still a gimmick wrestler, and being a gimmick wrestler, and I don't mean a good gimmick wrestler. I just mean, he might as well carry a trash can when he comes out to the ring. But the fact is that I think that
is the trash can for him? Wait a minute, is the trash can for him?
Yes, he can put himself in it at the end of the match.
We finally agree on something. We think that he's trash. Hold on. Thank you. Kudos.
Because at times I sit there and I'm like, come on now, Cassidy, this is not even entertaining. But the fans, for some strange reason, like this guy. They really find him remarkable in what he does. So I don't know. I don't think he's ready.
If you look at it like this, right? He his merchandise push. People are dressed like Orange Cassidy more than they have those ridiculous MJF fake ass Burberry sweaters, right? From Canal Street. Like there's more kids and people dressed like Orange Cassidy in the audience wearing shades. Now, I don't see what's the difference between this gimmicky image he has and Damian Sandow had when he was Damian Mizdow. It's that kind of quirky wrestling gimmick thing that certain people like because it's supposed to be entertaining, but what you guys are saying is that it's not entertaining.
Oh, because in WWE,
it was cool in the beginning, but now it's just like, what the hell am I watching here every week?
When these said talents that's in there, right? I just feel like they just get stuck into that gimmick and they just don't know how to get out of it. Like let's say like MJF, I can't see him being nothing else but what he is. And I think that's kind of going to be, I don't know. I think that's going to be a downfall for him because he's going to have to be that character forever. Because I just seen something like online they was comparing like MJF to Roman Reigns, right? Roman Reigns was who when like he was shitty or whatever, but he made himself into this new character that he has developed in, right? Where it's like he's like a fearful champion, you know what I mean? And he demands his respect. Like he don't even have to say much. He does great work in the ring. He's even gotten better on the mic, and what the shit that he says is believable. Whereas into MJF, it's like he threatened you with insults. He's an insulting champion, like, and it's just like it's
comparison though.
I mean, maybe I'm like saying it wrong, but MJF, he just want to be stuck in that same character gimmick, and it's like I can't see nothing else for him. And in AEW, they just have stars, they have talent that just can't. I feel like they can't do nothing else.
Well,
Orange Cassidy.
No, I was saying that's not a fair comparison between the two because look, Roman Reigns, first of all, 2019 made Roman Reigns. Okay, let's be honest. All these years before, everybody was sick of Roman Reigns. Everybody was sick. First of all, he wasn't the tribal chief. So, do you remember the Royal Rumble where when he won, he was booed out of Philadelphia, and The Rock had to. Even The Rock couldn't even help him that day, right? And that's what we were getting for years. People were sick of him being in the title picture. Now you can't do without him being in the title picture, but that's just over evolution of the character over time. MJF has technically been on the main scene only for 3 years. So, and his character has been developing over time. Because when MJF first came on the scene, we wasn't looking at MJF. He was just somebody that was like, oh shit, that's what he said. Okay. But now he's in the main stage. He's now developed his character. So we don't know how far he could go because here's the thing. We've seen Roman Reigns change from a face to a heel. However, we don't know what MJF could become. I'm not defending MJF in no stretch of imagination because he don't need me to defend him. I mean, if you saw the media scrum, he definitely don't need anybody to defend him. But the fact is that just watching him, evolve, I think he'll be a hell of a face too. I feel like if he turned face, that will be the least suspecting thing that you would suspect, and that would probably bring more eyes on the product. Random thought.
Well, I couldn't say it any more eloquently than you. You took all of my thoughts right out of my mouth. Same thing. We haven't had the chance and the opportunity to see MJF in that light. I don't think it's the comparison at all because unlike everybody else, I wasn't booing Roman Reigns. I've been a Roman Reigns guy since he debuted with the Shield. I said he was the star out of the Shield, and I was right, much like I was right about Powerhouse Hobbs. I just think that certain people have to find certain kind of niches, right? MJF has to, what we're seeing now with that match, we doubted him in the Iron Man match, but we'll talk a little bit about that when I guess Mash out to the rundown. But we doubted that. We did not want to see that match, and that match ended up being, for the least part, entertaining. It wasn't what we was expecting, but it gave us something to the storyline, and it kind of made MJF look like the star, and Brian, it did the complete opposite or the reverse of what it was that we was expecting to come out of the match. So,
absolutely,
yeah. Man, all right. All I feel like is MJF can't do nothing else, and what he's gonna do is just try to be more disrespectful. Like he's just as equal as to when CM Punk dropped the goddamn pipe bomb, and that's everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, CM Punk, he's so great on a mic." That is equal to what when he did with Tony Khan. Like, I can't believe he said this about Tony Khan. I can't believe it. So what? When he gets to WWE, that's what he's gonna do too. Like, oh fuck you, Triple H, you big nose, shiny nose bastard. Like, it's just always the same shit, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired.
Well, there's a difference. Triple H would never allow you never hear anybody in this era bury the back, bury you can bury the shit out of your partner, the opponent, but you can't bury the bosses no more. Them days is done because I was gonna say is that also Triple H is more now, as you can see, is a person that does not what is respected and doesn't want the limelight. He doesn't want to be, like how Vince never wants anybody to mention him in his Hall of Fame speech. He's Triple H is the exact same way. He does not want to be in the limelight at all.
Okay.
So what else you got there, friend?
My next question is: we all saw Monday Night Raw, all right?
Yes.
That Cena and Theory promo. Ooh, what do you guys think about that? Did Cena do what he does best when he goes into petty Cena mode? I love petty Cena. I love it. Just to mention that, I love when he gets petty. Did he bury Austin Theory? Do we think that?
In my opinion, in my honest opinion, one, just like you said about MJF, I think Petty Cena is a one-trick pony, to be honest. Secondly, I don't think that it was a bury. I think it was more of a call to action for Austin Theory to step up to the plate more than actually, a bury. You understand what I'm saying? Because as he said in his speech, if I beat you, that sucks for you. And if you beat me, that sucks for you too. So I don't think it was a bury. It was more a call to action for Austin Theory to step up to the plate, in my honest opinion. Mash out?
Yeah, I will agree. I think that the match, I think that the promo, it was a bury to a certain extent. It was a call to action. My only thing is that I just get worried about these things when Cena does them, because I feel like now, Austin Theory cannot go toe to toe on the promo game. So at the end of the day, you say all these things. What is he going to come back with, right? What is he going to respond with? He just stands there and quivers. That's what kills me about these moves. Like, I get it. Is it make me more interested in watching the match? No, but I just feel like, come on now, John. You're a master on the microphone. You are a savant on the promo game, but Austin's not ready for that yet. He's not. I have yet to hear Austin Theory promo where I'm sitting here like, wow, okay, this guy's doing his thing. I have yet to hear that type of promo. So I would consider it a bury, because I don't see what was the positive coming out of that.
That promo reminded me of the time when when Cena and Roman had their first promo. And remember, if y'all can remember, Roman was just stuffed in his words, like he didn't even know what the fuck to say. Like when he had got mad and like tried to shoot back and it did not work for him. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really going bad for your boy. This is really bad.
This reminds me of when Cena was going against The Rock in the first time, and The Rock had his number, so to speak, and Cena had to learn how to kind of keep up with The Rock. That's why I really think it was more or less like a call to action, but it's an Austin Theory type thing. See, Austin Theory is like Randy Orton type. Like Randy got slick on the mic. He was always good at promos, but getting slicks with jab backs later on in his career, and I think Austin Theory will be the same. However, I do feel like Cena. Well, I heard it was like no producer, like this. They just let Cena do what Cena was supposed to do.
Yeah, he went.
Like do what he was supposed to do. I think when we see Austin Theory in about 2 or 3 years, he will be ready to do this. Now, had this been an Austin Theory thing, because had this been Montez Ford, I think Montez Ford would have been able to go back and forth with Cena with a little bit more charisma. But yeah,
mind you, Austin Theory is only 26, so.
Right.
He has some ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. He got some good in-ring action. On the mic, he'll get there. Only 26.
I just, just John does this, man. Sometimes I just be like, oh, come on now, John. Like, I get it completely, but you said that they had to pipe in the
piping crowd noise. Like, oh my gosh!
I said all of that. I said, come on now, John. That's not necessary.
Yeah,
That's not
you
necessary,
ain't have to
John.
do him like that. You ain't have to do him like that. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I don't know why Cena acting like they don't pop in John Cena subs, let's go Cena when he's wrestling. Because that ain't no genuine audience reaction all the time. Let's go Cena, Cena subs. It's piped in too. So I don't even know why homie would even go that route. Like he ain't been the subject of piping.
Well, I mean, when they started doing piping, Cena wasn't really there anymore like that. So you really, I mean,
that's a lie. That's a lie.
When they started doing the pipe, they started doing the piping noise when COVID hit, when quarantine was going on.
That's what you think, but that's not true.
They've been piping in for the last 15 years.
Thank you.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay, you need to calm your ass down. Oh, you know what? Probably so, because that was when like the CM Punk chants was coming out. So I guess that's when they started. Okay, all right, calm down.
What else you got in there?
I'm drinking water and minding my business.
Yeah, sure. Water in a cup. And a cup that we cannot see what's inside of it. Water my ass.
It's lemon water. Burns fat.
All right.
Oh, you're fat?
What else you got for us?
Maybe that fat ass head.
All right, Head Stanford. I don't think you could afford to talk.
Okay, you just caught me. You just John Cena'd me. Okay.
What else you got?
This is my last one. This is my last thought right here.
There's a lot of smoke in this smoking section.
Yeah. And I'm about to smoke your ass. But anyway,
I'm ready.
Cena passing the torch on to Cody Rhodes. How do we feel about that? What do we feel like? Like, is Cody the next one to like do it for the E?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like that.
Absolutely.
Who else you got?
Yeah. Well, they have people, but as in who is excellent on who can go to interviews, who can go overseas and represent the company. You know, he's a blonde. He has history and a lineage in wrestling. He's been all around the world. You got to go through the mud to come out clean. And Cody definitely did that. Getting the actual nod like Cena got from Taker, and now Cena passing it on to Cody Rhodes. Because, you know, Cena was there and at his peak when Cody was there, and Cody had to be all those different variations of Cody Rhodes into Stardust before Cody left. Cena was on top. So to be able to see his development and his growth and give him that nod, Rhodes is definitely the next guy. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I mean, you know, I saw a post on, I don't remember what page I saw it on, but it was Hogan to The Rock, you know, and Hogan did the handover to The Rock. And I saw The Rock, you know, to Cena, and then I saw Cena to Cody Rhodes. Every so often you have a passing of the torch, and realistically speaking, of course there's a lot of skips, of course, you know, but realistically speaking, it's time, right? It's time for us to get away from John Cena as the face. John Cena's not coming back. So, you know, I hate to break hearts and things and minds out there. John Cena is not coming back at all. This is going to be one-offs, even though rumor has it Stone Cold's going to be at this WrestleMania as well. That's another rumor that I wanted to add to the smoking section. Just one more thought after we finish this topic right here. But no, what I'm saying is that it's time. It's time to move on from John Cena, and Cody Rhodes 1000% had like Brandon Thought just said more eloquently than I could. You know, the family lineage, okay, the look, the moves to be the face of the E.
Okay. I agree with both of you. You convinced me. I'm like, bitch, come and convince me.
All right. Praise God and pass the ammunition. Yes,
exactly. And mind you, I always was a Cody Rhodes guy.
You was. I wasn't.
From dashing Cody Rhodes. You know what? When I wasn't kind of a Cody Rhodes guy, I'm like, come on, man, get some goddamn knee pads. Like, what are you doing out there? You just went out there with drawers and boots. I'm like, come on. How you gonna be out there in drawers and boots? Like, come on, bro.
Can I add one thing to the smoker section?
Yes, you may.
So, rumor has it that Stone Cold may face LA Knight at WrestleMania.
Oh,
yes.
Yes. Now, that is a rumor that is buzzing around town.
Hold on one second. But before I forgot we was moving on for Cody Rhodes. Also, there's going to be Cody. Speaking of Stone Cold, there's going to be Cody Rhodes on Broken Skull Sessions with Stone Cold Steve Austin as well. But
coming up when?
They didn't do the premiere date yet. They just showed the clip. But go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Mash.
Wait, wasn't he already on there? Is this another time he was on there? Like, I think he already. You think he was on there?
I never seen it.
Did I see it?
I'm not. I think he was. I think he coming in from last year's. I'm sorry. You need to go somewhere with that last year news, buddy.
Yeah, he was already on there. Is it a second time around he's coming on?
Did he have on a purple suit that time?
I don't remember. All I remember, he was talking about he wanted to have the to hold the belt that Stone Cold had, the one that Stone.
Oh yeah, y'all right. Last May. All right, y'all right. My bad.
So where? Not the belt.
You know what? You gotta go. Go. Leave. Walk off. Walk off.
Right. So anyhow, so going back to the LA Knight, Stone Cold. That's the rumor that's going around town. How do you guys feel? I'm excited for it. If it really is going to happen, I'm excited for it. And here's the thing. Unlike John Cena and Austin Theory, I do see where this can go. Okay? After the match. Brandon, thoughts?
I'm super excited. I mean, you have an icon apparel like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then having the man LA Knight. This is the way. They both have charisma. I could see them him going, yeah. Stone Cold going, what? Him going, yeah. Stone Cold going, what? Like, I'm here for all of it and both of it. That's definitely a dope direction that they can take this. If that's what they plan on doing.
Yo, D, what's up? Talk to us.
Oh, you know how I feel. Stone Cold is always my fucking guy. And it was looking like LA Knight ain't going to really have much to do, and he ain't got no match, so they're going to have to put him in there somewhere. Like he ain't just talking to be talking for these last couple of weeks, and he ain't going to be in the at WrestleMania. I would love to see him and Stone Cold back and forth on the mic. Stone Cold hit him with a stunner. It's going to be amazing. I'm with that. Anytime you get to get Stone Cold in the ring, come on, you have to be there.
You know what? And last year, see, a lot of us was on the edge of our seat because we didn't know what to expect from Stone Cold. You know what I mean? Like to be honest with you, nobody knew what to expect because what we was hoping is that can he still go? And he did it in a way in which that's why Kevin Owens was such a great opponent for him because it was like, where, it was like Kevin knew how to take it with him. Kevin knew, okay, you know what? We gotta make Stone Cold look really good and strong in this match, right? We gotta make him look good. And with Stone Cold knee brace and all that stuff, he still was able to go to not at the length he did it before, but the fact is he got all of us engaged and we believed that he could be the same guy again. And let me tell you something. Everybody's ass cheek clenched when that man took that back body drop on the floor. Everybody wanted to pass out. Listen, when he did that back body drop on when and he hit the ground. Everybody was like, "Shit, man! If this guy back hit that floor, that's it for the match." Okay, that's it. Call it audible. It's time to go home. Okay.
I feel like if you put Stone Cold if you put Stone Cold in a ring with any one of those guys that's really good in the ring and good on the mic, they're going to protect him. He's not going in there with like with one of those AEW guys. You know what I mean? Them indie guys.
Seth Rollins did not protect Sting, bro. Seth
did
Rollins
he not, or did Sting lied his ass off, and now you seen him jumping off of goddamn rafters doing body splashes?
No.
Well,
come on.
Well,
Sting had ring rust from all those years being out of the ring, and when he came back, they put him against a top guy that does, like, first of all, Sting versus Triple H would have made more sense, okay? But Sting versus Seth Rollins,
I don't know.
You can't.
Sting versus
Sting was
Undertaker
57, 58. What was Seth? I think he was like 29 at the time.
You saying that 57, 58, but this man is like 65 years old, jumping off of goddamn rafters, doing body splashes.
I agree, but now
he's a liar.
But no, he's been working and been regimenting versus before, where it was just like the man was out of the ring. The man was still coming down from the rafter, bro. Like he was
I never saw Sting a day in my watch wrestling career life ever do shit that he was doing now in AEW. Never.
Well, now, guess what? He's still he's back at it. He's in the gym. He's working out. Sting was a little pudgy when he came back. You know what I'm saying? Remember, he was home for a few years. So when they did that buckle bomb when Seth did that buckle bomb on him, I said, like JR, good God, they killed him. I said, oh my God, there's no way. There's no way this man is gonna come back from this. Like I said this, and it was true. You saw him. You're like, what the hell is happening here? And to use another JR line, JR said that when they watch the product, they teach you how to fall. He said sometimes these things is real, okay, and that's exactly what happened. Because let me tell you, it was like. It reminded me of when the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn came back, and Road Dogg said, "Holy shit, this is real." He said in the match. I don't know if you guys remember when they made their return, like in the I think it was like 2015 or 2016. That's
when they had won the tag titles, right?
When he won the tag titles, and I don't remember who they were going against. And then after, he was like, "Holy shit, this is real." Okay, from going back and forth, and what happened?
Was it Goldust and Stardust?
I don't remember who they were going.
Because they won the titles off of somebody.
Big Cass and Enzo.
Big Cass and them never had the damn belts.
Who was it?
They got to the main roster.
Hold on. This nigga is factual today. You got one more time. You better make sure you come with all your right words and everything. Because if you don't, buddy, I'm telling you right now, the it factor you think it is, your name going to be T.I. It's going to be it the wrong way. Now you better be on point. Go ahead.
What are you talking to?
You. Wait. Diesel been bringing the receipts in this motherfucker.
Yes, he has.
Listen, he had his coffee this morning. He not playing with none of you niggas.
And his Wheaties.
Listen, you know what? Hold on, let me. Okay. I don't know if you heard that on the receiving end, but
we did. We heard it.
All right. So, that was it for me.
All right. That's it for the smoking section. So I'm gonna put this blunt out, and we're gonna move on to the next one. On to the next one. Okay.
I know that's right. So I think that's me. So we're gonna do the week of review this week, right? So
Turnbuckle Talk.
A lot of things. Turnbuckle Talk. A lot of things to talk about. Listen, I don't know. You guys just had me riled up from that last segment.
Because you probably got high off that shit, didn't you?
I definitely did.
You caught a contact.
Listen, Listen, y'all both defined the term off script for real.
I learned it from my father, Will Farrell.
All right, so this week we had the AEW pay-per-view Revolution live from San Francisco from the Cow Palace. So now a lot of things happen. I know that we already discussed, the main event and how it came out, but I'm just gonna run through some of the matches for you guys, obviously, because we want to go through that. Plus, we got to talk about Dynamite this week, and we got to talk about SmackDown as well. So, having said that, AEW's first pay-per-view for 2023, fellas. The first match of the night was varsity athletes and Ari Daivari versus Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers.
What the fuck was that? That must have been like a the preview. The preview.
That was on the pre.
Oh my god.
Okay. So clearly no one saw the match but me. So
no, I saw it. I saw the match.
Okay.
I saw the match. Yeah, I saw the match.
Listen, you had me sweating. You had me sweating like a preacher.
No. I saw the match. I was waiting for you to call on me.
I thought I had to call it in the ring right here. No. Okay, that's what I'm
call it in the ring. Call it in the ring.
Said, when did the match happen? I thought I had to call it in the
ring. No, the X is for someone's hurt. Okay, you're throwing up the wrong thing.
I just thought,
Yeah. He was saying, you keep do it one more time.
Back to the regularly scheduled programming. Okay. Yes. So it was funny. First time around, first of all, I've never seen the Lucha Brothers wear matching ring gear. This was the first.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. All right, so that was,
Lucha Brothers. That's Ray Phoenix and Penta Pinero.
Yeah. Okay. So I think pretty good match. Pretty good match. There was a botch in there that I really got concerned with Ray Phoenix. When he took the bump when he took the bump in the corner after the brain buster. That because I have all my notes up here, so I was going over. Yeah, so he took the bump in the corner. I said again, good God, they killed him. I don't even know how the man got through it. I said I don't even know how they got through it. Bell to bell, I think it was a pretty decent match. And I was really happy to see Mark Briscoe. Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. I was really happy to see Mark Briscoe wrestling with the Lucha Brothers, which was a really good showing. Random thought.
To piggyback off of what you said, Mark Briscoe is who brought the charisma to the match and really brought a certain level to it. The Lucha Brothers, Ray Phoenix is very accident prone, so when he does do these like botchy weird moves, like he did something with the rope, like the boop boop boop, and then on to I think it was Ari Daivari, whoever that is. Yeah, it was on to Ari Daivari. That spot was like, ooh, cringy, but he landed it nonetheless. I think the match definitely set the tone for the pay-per-view that we were about to see. And if you weren't invested in the pay-per-view, seeing this match, you're like, oh, if this is on the pre-show, what is it we gonna get on the main show on Bleacher Report?
Exactly.
So I think it was a good match. It was a good match. They should put matches like this on Dynamite.
They should. Which brings me to the second match of the night, which Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks. This match, I think here, Ricky really showed out. Right? Ricky really showed out on this match right here. I thought it was entertaining. When Sammy Guevara, came down to distract the referee and stuff like that. Bell to bell, pound for pound, very good match. I'm very proud of Ricky. Now, here's where my concern came in the match. I get it that Ricky has the injured ribs that he got from from a week ago or whatever. He needs to sell a little bit better on his injury. That was the only thing that I wrote down about this match. He needs to sell a little bit more on his injury, because I was sitting there like, I don't know about this one. He needs to sell a little bit more to make it look a little bit more believable. Overall, Ricky Starks did his thing in the match. So did Chris Jericho, of course. But Ricky Starks did his thing in his match. Let's go. Random thoughts.
Well, first I thought that finally seeing Ricky Starks in a storyline with context, you understand what I'm saying, with what he had going on with Chris Jericho. The buildup wasn't as superb as I thought it would be, but the match was greater than the buildup, so to speak. Seeing Ricky Starks, he's good at going in the ring, but I do think he should sell longer. But what happens with that is I think he's haven't had matches where he's gone a long time with such good contacts in the story to be able to have the bandwidth to sell, but he should work on his selling. The match was definitely a good match. I kind of thought that this match should have been in the middle of the pay-per-view because how octane it was, but I know they wanted to kick off with something that was blazing. So shouts out to my man's Ricky Stark all the time.
Diesel.
To be honest, I haven't seen the pay-per-view. I'm just throw that out.
The receipts! The receipts!
I was trying to watch it.
That nigga watches WWE. He's a WWE.
Whoa.
I bet you he watched NXT. I bet you he watched Roadblock.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Two Amigos show.
Listen, don't do this. I watch AEW Dark, Elevation, Dynamite. They're about to have a new show called Collision, and I'm watching, of course, Rampage. No, I don't watch Rampage. I'm sorry. But,
all right.
Everything else I do.
All right. So this looks like this is going to be a fast review. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So also, did you notice the crowd was split because they were this is what's weird about Jericho now. Jericho, is like a tweener because it's like, they want to hate him, but they still love him. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that they sing his song is still in unison, it just speaks volumes. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Brandon.
Well, the thing about it is Jericho is a GOAT, right? Jericho has transcended different times, different federations, and kind of kept himself like refreshed in a way. Although he's old, he gets fat, he gets skinny. He's like Luther Vandross, right? We like skinny Jericho, we like fat Jericho. We like skinny Luther, we like fat Luther, right? But he has this thing that he is the staple, right? Like I always say, if you tune into AEW or WWE and you see one of these faces that is still going, he has the power to draw you in. So I knew that the crowd was going to be split anyway because Chris Jericho had a big showing and he also has a history. They were out in the Bay Area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chris Jericho had like a history out in, California, coming down from like Winnipeg and Calgary and wrestling. So those are long-standing Chris Jericho fans in that audience, but they can still respect the upstart and where it is that they going in, quote unquote, building stars in AEW with Ricky Stark. That's what I think.
And you know what? And you're absolutely right, because also remember that audience is going to be white hot because that's where WrestleMania is going to be. So so there's just any type of wrestling happening at that time, and I think Tony Khan was very strategic about that, Brandon Thought, because you're holding your pay-per-view in the same area that the WWE is holding WrestleMania. That could have been. I didn't even think about that.
Let me tell you something, though. It's not like it's interchangeable, right? Because some of the people, I'm a person that pays attention to the audience members on both shows. Some of the same people be at the same show, right? Some people go to AEW, some people go, and then WrestleMania is 2 nights, and it's in the SoFi Stadium. So it's not only going to be the Bay Area people. It's people flying in from Ireland. It's people flying in from, coming in from Arizona, coming in from New York, coming in from all over the world for WrestleMania. Not to say that it's not an international crowd that was in the Chase Center at Revolution. However, I do think that was kind of strategic when it came to Tony Khan. Sorry, go to the next match.
Yeah, because he knows how to piggyback off of what WWE is doing. He always does it.
Oh, there he goes.
he always does that Tony Khan. Come on.
All right, the next one is the final burial. Jack Perry versus Christian Cage. Last burial match. This one really. I was very disappointed in this match, only because I really could care less for it. But random thought. You could take this one. I don't have.
Hold on. Before you do, Brandon,
almost zero notes on this.
Why are you so disappointed in this matchup?
He said it.
It was terrible. Listen. I watched it and I sat there. I put on my notes. I'm like, I wish I could share my screen. It says, "What the fuck?" That's what it says here. That's what I put on my notes for this match. It says,
who was terrible, Christian?
I just
both.
It was
both of them.
It was both. I just couldn't do it. Like I said, what was I watching here? Like I said,
because you know why? They just had months of build up, right? And really no in ring, like, you know what I'm saying? Like chemistry, yes. Like they even put them in, set them up in tag matches to see how to see if they can get that match going in, even in a tag match. Everything would just been promos, insults, and attacks. That's it. And that's where AEW fucks up sometimes.
Well, with that said, that was my comment, and that was my feedback.
I was going to say, Christian, did you see that Christian blew up so fast in the match?
Yes, and that's because that would
never
be Ed. That would never be Ed. No, he got blown up. Like, he was tired. He was winded. He was like, Jack Perry. See, I was just about to say, Jack Perry needs to be in the ring with more people, like maybe a Chris Jericho, who is seasoned, who can teach him how to navigate through that. Chris Jericho and Christian isn't the same thing. I don't care if they wrestle both from Canada. They're not the same type of style of wrestler.
Absolutely.
So Jack Perry needs to be in the ring with someone who's going to teach him how to do this. Also, there is no real developmental in AEW. They have the performance center over at WWE. I mean, at least when Cody was there, he had the Nightmare stick? What was that called? Where they would train, and it looks like the training.
Nightmare Factory.
Yeah, the Nightmare Factory. I don't know if they can still use that, but Jack Perry hasn't really had a good fit. And this match, to me, should have maybe started out the pay-per-view. And I don't know.
It was show worthy.
Yeah, there you go. It was very, and it did nothing for Jack Perry, which is it's supposed to like plummet. Like, we don't want to see him go. Yeah, like we don't want to see him go for the title right now. We feel like he did shitty in the match. So this doesn't help him, and it damn sure doesn't help Christian that Edge has come back. Although we like him or don't like him, Edge has come back and has had very good, sufficient matches. Nonetheless, some of them could be nominated for year since he's been back, and he's involved coming up in WrestleMania with one of the good ones with Finn Balor. So, Christian, this was not a good look for you. I think it's time for you to go back to be the manager of J. Crew, where you get your turtleneck.
It's time to hang it up.
Whoa. I will not have you talk about my guy Christian like that. I like Christian. This era of Christian, I like it.
You didn't like him enough to watch the pay-per-view, though.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm watching it now. Watching the highlight.
All right. Next is the Elite versus the House of Black for the Trios Championship. Okay. So this match here, this is okay. There were some moments that I marked down in this match. First of all, the House of Black entrance is always amazing. Like, these guys do their thing.
They really do. We fast forward to that.
The way Kenny Omega, got crushed with that shit outside. Oh my God. I said, what in God's name is I said, Tony, the people have to live. You have to keep the product going, Tony. If they die outside, you're not gonna have a show anymore.
You know what he's doing, right? He's trying to make sure that he's not a good grade of meat, just in case him and the Young Bucks decide to go over to the WWE when their contract is up. So he's like, yeah, let's put him in a match. Let's hurt him. Let's bang him up and make sure he's not a good grade so he can't be sold to the other masters. Let's cut off his feet, Kuta.
And to add on, not to really, but I feel like the House of Black is the best thing going. And
you keep taking my words right out of my mouth.
I agree with that.
You took the words right out of my mouth. First of all, to me, this was the match of the night. To me, for me, match of the night. And it's not about, being the best match or should have been one of the main events. It should have to me, but to me, it was match of the night. The interaction between the Young Bucks and what's this guy name? I never know his name. The third guy and
Brody King.
Yeah, Brody King.
Yeah, Brody King.
Yeah, with Brody King, like that spot was bananas and crazy. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I like this match.
I was gonna say we have to set up one day for Matthews versus Omega. So, Buddy Matthews versus Kenny. I think that'll be a very good match.
You see, hold on. I know I said this earlier about them using ex-WWE guys to be the top guys, but here you have two of the ex-WWE guys that should be top guys in Buddy Matthews, and Malachi Black. Like what? Like, oh my gosh! This is what I hate.
But even if you look at it, right, and talking about that, right, remember when, again, Hogan, Macho Man, all these people was at the top, you always had someone like The Undertaker, who was a staple, who stayed, who can, they don't have to always be necessarily vying for the title, but their storyline is very key and important, and it put butts in seats and it get people attention. And I think that's where they're going with Aleister Black.
Are we forgetting when Undertaker came, I think, in his first year or something like that, he became WWE champion? WWF champion, excuse me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why did they say...
And then he did not get the belt again until when he defeated Psycho Sid. Or, that was years later. It was so many champions.
Because in between those years later, Undertaker was developing his character. He was developing his character.
Right.
With Malachi Black, he developed this. He already had that character since being in WWE. I hate when these guys come from over there, right? And you say, like, you know what? You come over here, I'm gonna treat you better. I'm gonna do much better for you. Only you do much better for him, and is
we don't know if
he was released. He was released. What was he gonna do? He was released.
I mean, he'll be released. No, y'all don't get it. He needs to be at the top. Aleister Black, he needs to be at the fucking top.
Everybody can't be at the top. Everybody can't be at the top.
When he came in, he was fighting. He came in coming at a top dog in Cody Rhodes. And then after that, what they do to him? They shift his ass down. Just like how they did with my guy Rusev. Rusev Day! They always do this. Yeah, Miro, Zero, whatever.
But what I agree with you is Malachi Black is a headliner star and should be and will be champion one day. But we have to develop. Yeah, we have to develop that, right? Like let MJF run through all of these wrestlers and these professional wrestlers before he get in front of Malachi Black or a Buddy Murphy in order to really make it more intriguing by the time. Well, you don't watch enough anyway to care, but I get what you're saying.
All right. So next match on the card is Jamie Hayter versus Ruby Soho versus Saraya for the women's championship. Listen, if y'all are with me, I'm just okay to bypass this match.
Yes, please.
I
please.
took some notes there, but they were just,
fuck Ruby Soho and fuck Saraya.
Those are wait a minute.
Listen, they are just nothing but girls that just like to be in groups. Starting to think they're lesbians.
Okay, ain't nothing wrong with lesbians. People love lesbians. We don't know about their sexual orientation.
And moving on to the main event, we're just gonna skip right over this and go on to the main event. The main event of the night was the Texas Death. Well, I'm sorry, I'm jumping. Sorry, I wanted to bypass this match too, but I'm sorry. Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page in the Texas Death Match. This was a pick four match as well. This was there was I'll give you my key takeaways I had from the match. The power bomb onto the chair. But I did not like that move. I thought it was very dangerous. I remember I put that Page if Page slipped on with Moxley just a little bit, that'd have been the end of Moxley. Okay, that'd have been the end of Moxley. I don't understand the move with the fork. I just couldn't understand where he was trying to stab him. I don't understand what I was watching there. And Hangman Adam Page's entrance was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
How many Texas death matches are they going to have?
I don't know. Until someone actually dies.
AEW claimed to say they're not going to do like gimmicky matches, but here we go, gimmicky matches.
Well, go ahead. A lot of their matches are gimmicky. Specifically with this particular match, it was something I wasn't looking forward to, but I was like, let me watch because this might be the little, dark horse in the race, no pun intended, to Hangman Adam Page. But I was like, maybe this match is gonna like wow me. But once again, like I said last week, if you want to refer to GCW and you like to see why is there a metal fork at ringside, like someone's eating food and they took the fork from somebody, where'd you get a metal fork from, bro? Like, I don't understand.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh! I'm looking. Oh shit! I'm sorry. My feedback in them.
See what you missed. But anyhow, this match, if I had to rate it,
would it be rated R?
No, not at all. It would be 6.5 out of 10.
Okay, I would go 5 out of 10.
Okay, 6.5 out of 10. You just gave him a goddamn Dave Meltzer rating. Then that's what you did.
Now we're gonna move on to the next one: Samoa Joe versus Wardlow for the TNT Championship. Nah, this one, oh god, I really want to say this was a decent match, but there was just so much times where I'm sitting there,
oh my God. I will say this. Just like Edge and Beth Phoenix, according to you, I'm going to need Samoa Joe to go in a retirement home.
Yes.
Because is he getting fatter? Not that we have anything against fat people.
No, his weight is actually taking control of him now.
Yes, it's becoming slower. Yes, and the way that he sells his moves, and you can kind of see him like almost guessing, and that's not something that Samoa Joe does. Like wrestling is a second nature to him, and that wasn't apparent in this match at all. And then you have an upstart like Wardlow, who does not have a lot of experience with different type of styles of wrestlers. He was basically his first year and a half was, Suplex Symphony, Powerbomb Symphonies. Yeah. And it was really quick matches. He has not had really long matches like that, which is why I do want to see him and Powerhouse Hobbs have a longer rivalry so that they both can learn. But I think Powerhouse Hobbs is a little bit more experienced. Although Joe was experienced in this, I saw a very piss poor showing of Joe. And this is kind of Joe's area. Yeah. Like Joe is from here, so he should have been showing off and showing out.
And didn't it seem like the crowd wasn't really into it? Like
they weren't. They weren't.
Dead. It felt like they were dead through the whole thing.
They put them on after the Malachi Black in them. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And then they got bored with Saraya and all of them. So then they were super bored by the time it came to this match where it was supposed to be two heavyweights vying for a title that they really want to be sort of viewed as important in AEW.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Card was.
Can I just say this real quick? I'm watching the Moxley and what you call it match. And these are some dirty.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
All right, I'm just saying, but these some dirty ass white boys. They're some dirty ass white boys. I'm just saying, their backs are that damn dirty. Like he's scratching his back, and I seen dirt. Okay, just go. I'm done.
All right, the next on the card was the Guns versus Jarrett and Lethal versus the Acclaimed, Cassie and Danhausen for the tag team titles. Listen, all right. First of all, one thing I noticed was first of all, Billy Gunn should not be helping out with anything. That was like something that I put here. I said, Billy Gunn. I wrote down Billy Gunn needs to stay as far away from a ring as possible. Okay, at this point, it was too much.
He can stay close to the ring. He just needs to help Jack Perry how to wrestle. Go ahead.
Yes. There was too much hijinks and stupidity going on in the match for me to even keep up. Like it was just, from the Danhausen shenanigans to the everything that was happening outside of the ring. It was too much for me to really keep up with what was going on. I'm going to say that, I Jeff Jarrett also, it's time. Jeff, I get it. Like I said last week, I get it. Your father done died. You done ran your own organization. You and Tony Khan is friends at this point, but it's time for you to just hang it up flat screen. There's no reason for you to be still in a wrestling ring at all. At best, if we're doing the ratings, I would say this was a 4 out of a 10 match. And congratulations to the Guns, for winning. Here's another thing that I noticed. Why was the Guns wearing Shawn Michaels outfits? I have no idea.
They've been doing that for weeks now, though.
Well, it's a shade to Billy Gunn because originally, Shawn Michaels is the one who would say, if you ain't down with that, we got 2 words for you, right? And then when Billy Gunn joined and Shawn Michaels left, it kind of became Billy Gunn's thing to do. So now they're kind of like poking at their dad, wearing like Shawn Michaels was the real, kind of guy, whatever the case may be, so to speak.
What you call it? Doesn't he have real heat with them, too, though?
Who, Billy Gunn?
Billy Gunn? Yeah, he has real heat with Shawn and Hunter.
No, I don't think so. I didn't hear that. Do you know anything about that?
That's why I'm always like, anytime I see him like in interviews or something, he doesn't really speak on them as much because he doesn't like them.
I think that might be for
work,
for television purposes. I think it's the work. I think they're all friends.
Okay.
I always when I see it, I always believe.
But you know who was Billy Gunn, one of Billy Gunn's best friends that he loved to death, that he actually lived with the man, was Stone Cold.
Steve, oh yeah, I did hear that story before.
Yeah,
I did hear that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I never know
that's
that.
actually, that's just one of his best friends.
My take back from this match is I feel a little bad for the Gun Club because they are an actual official tag team, and they won, but it didn't get to shine because it was so much fluff and hoopla going on in the match. So they didn't really get to show they footing as a tag team. That was my only comment that I had on this match, because I just basically watched it and was like, damn, if they would have been able to display who they are as a team more often, even if they're a heel team, right? They have to be the annoying antecedent team to FTR. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to be the cheaters. So you have to show and display this before they go into a rivalry.
Absolutely.
And that didn't happen.
Oh.
But, yeah.
All right, let's get to the main event. What we all came to see, which was MJF versus Bryan Danielson, in the Iron Man match. Now, I just want to start off by saying this. I did not think that MJF could go that long. I was very pleasantly surprised by this match because MJF really surprised me. I'm going to some of my comments. Okay. MJF talking to the camera, the call out Dave Meltzer was funny. Okay. That was funny. The tombstone that he hit on
off the rope,
Danielson, off the rope was wild. Crazy. I put that down. His power bomb backbreaker looked very good.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, the Tommaso
the elbow drop.
Good one. Solid Diesel. That was good.
The elbow drop he hit on Danielson through the table was very good. And it was very, very decent match. I would give it a 7 out of a 10. Random thoughts.
What I didn't expect out of this match was for us to see MJF, for Daniel Bryanson to sell half of the match, because this was it was a back and forth, but this was really a display of MJF and the different styles he can do within the ring, right? Because he's known to be a shit talker. He's becoming a shitty, according to Sour Diesel, he's becoming a shitty shit talker, but he's known to be a shit talker. But can you actually back it up in a ring to make you be legitimized, period, in this business? And we've seen him do that in the ring. It wasn't any moves in particular. It was more of the style and the way the match went in, because MJF basically came in as a wrestling underdog for a match like the Iron Man match. Secondly, he had time. He barely wrestled on TV in between going through. Right. So in between all of those different things, he might have had time to get his cardio up, to do some endurance, to be able to go with the likes of someone like Bryan Danielson, and it be definitely believable.
I think MJF might have that Brock Lesnar contract. You know what I mean? Just never fucking. He barely he only wrestles on the pay-per-views. Like, I mean, and I feel like I like. Don't get me wrong. I like MJF. I like the shitty talk that he does. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like I'm just like, I want to see him switch it up a little bit. Tired of like the insults and all the things, and then you're tricking us like you're going to be good, but then you're just really a fucking jackass. You know what I mean? And,
right.
And when he did the Dave Meltzer talking thing, I just thought that was a nod to, like, not a nod, but like imitating Roman, where Roman talks to the camera, but he doesn't really address nobody. He's addressing everyone. And I just think that's what that was, but it was a decent spot. But yeah.
All right. And that is AEW Revolution 2023. Let's get into Dynamite. All right. March 8th. Following the pay-per-view, we had, to start off, Ricky Starks coming out to speak. And I was really happy about that
was the start of Dynamite.
I thought that okay. So my notes is
the start of Dynamite was your boy Cassidy versus Jay Lethal.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
For the Bell Atlantic champion.
All Atlantic. Okay.
All Bell Atlantic championship. That's what it is. Right?
Okay, sorry. I have my I'm just jumping around my notes. Okay. So the match obviously was Freshly Squeezed versus Jay Lethal. All right. They banned Jay Lethal people were banned, which was obviously just Jeff Jarrett, banned from ringside, right? So when Jay Lethal sent Freshly Squeezed knee first to the ring post, I said, okay, this is it. Now this is getting interesting, Okay, on this match, I would give it 6 out of 10.
Another Dave Meltzer rating.
It was a 6 out of 10. I don't. Here's my thing about this. I like Jay Lethal, so anything Jay Lethal is in is pretty much kind of going to be decent, And Orange Cassidy, in my opinion, worked his ass off in this match. All right, and then after we saw Jeff Jarrett break his guitar over the knee of Cassidy.
That was a dumb spot. Like, why the fuck will you take a goddamn guitar and hit someone in the knee with it? Like, what the fuck? Why don't you just get a pipe? I know the smashing the guitar thing is your thing, but I don't want to see no goddamn guitar smash over somebody's damn knee. That is so dumb. Like, when I seen it, I was just disgusted.
All right. Well, okay. Well, we got your Brandon, thoughts.
I just thought it was weird that it was the third week they was kicking off with the Bell Atlantic Championship again.
All Atlantic.
That was really weird to me, like that format, and it's just like weird because at least do it the first week. Then maybe if you did it the second week is because it went over well. The third week, at least make it a little bit more later in the card to say that the merit of the title has enhanced. Only funny thing I thought about this was when they went on commentary and the whole arena could hear the commentary. Other than that, I was
I just want to add this in real quick, right? The problem with AEW is you just came off a steaming, piping hot cup of good pay-per-view coffee, right? Come in with a promo. The Ricky Starks thing should have been first, in my belief, because that's how you start them off to becoming something like a star. Like you see them being a contender for something, but they always do something backwards. And the whole goddamn night, their matches was picture and picture. Motherfuckers.
Yes. Next was Ricky Starks promo. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the promo was pretty good, fellas. Any thoughts?
It was pretty good, but I feel like it ain't last that damn long. Right? It didn't last that long. It only lasts about like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I am invested in Ricky Starks, the wrestler. I'm not invested in Ricky Starks, the character, yet. And I think these times that they give him on the microphone is the time for us to put another dollar toward Ricky Starks, the character. And I think I'm giving 50 cents for what happened on Wednesday, maybe not a full dollar. And maybe I think I need to see a little bit more. Not that I'm knocking him down. He's really, really great. I think he was one of my wrestlers of the week one time on a pilot episode. I don't know. But just a little bit more from Ricky Stark for me.
All right. Next is Sky Blue versus Ruby Soho.
Don't forget her promo before the match.
Yes.
God.
Yes. That fell short. That whole promo fell short. Here's where some of my my thoughts from that match. It said that she claimed that the fans loved it when Baker defeated her in New York at Grand Slam. She claimed that they were quick to turn on Storm and Saraya when they arrived.
And that's just that's just a group right there. I now notice that's just a group of ex-WWE girls.
It is, and at this point, I'm sitting here saying to myself, I really don't. I wasn't feeling this match. I thought this match was trash.
Yeah, it was a waste.
Yeah, I thought this match was absolute trash. I ain't gonna hold you. I definitely changed the channel to watch First 48 when this match was happening. So
I guess it was a murder scene everywhere, huh?
Yes, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Brandon. Thought.
I said, I think on the pilot episode, once again, when we did talk about Ruby Soho, that she was going to join them. This is their version of being the outsiders or their female NWO. It's not revolutionary. It fell really short. A lot of the stuff that Ruby Soho said was kind of true. Thank God for her WWE NXT training, that even when the audience was like trying to get under her skin, she still kept on going. So I will nod her for that. Other than that, as I said, and we'll talk about it a little bit later when we talk about the women, like there's not a lot of stars. They look good under the WWE lighting and how they're booked from whether they're on NXT on up. But when they go elsewhere, you see who they actually really, really are. Never was a fan of Ruby Soho. Never was a fan of Toni Storm. I love Paige. I don't know who the fuck Saraya is. That's my take back of that.
Paige is like one of those. I feel like Paige is one of those people. I put Paige in my on my list of like one of those people. Like, yo, I can't wait till they come back. Yo, I cannot wait to see her back in the ring. And then when they get that opportunity, you just sit there like, what the fuck? Like just disappointment. Total disappointment.
Absolutely. I agree. Next, we saw FTR come to the ring, okay, and do the promo with Tony Schiavone and with Tony Schiavone. And so clearly they're re-signing and they're with the company. I thought they were leaving to go to
Me too.
So they're with the company and now they're going for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. That means that Tony Khan definitely opened up the wallet to keep these two there to re-sign their agreement.
April, I heard their contract ends in April, and Tony overheard them on one of the podcasts one day saying that they want him to call them up or some shit like that. And I think that's when Tony did that. But I don't think they're staying for long. I think they're gonna do what they're gonna do with the guns and be out. That's what I think.
All right. Next was AR Fox and Top Flight versus Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Daniel Garcia. I could have done without this match. Okay. The reason why I'm gonna say I could have done without it. This match looked like it was just fluff for the Jericho Appreciation Society. This did not look like this was doing anything. Nothing was there for AR Fox and Top Flight. All right, this
sports
is definitely
entertainers. Okay,
sports entertainers. Okay, entertainers. Okay, I just think that the match was just fluff. There, it didn't serve any purpose at all. And I think it was just building on to the promo now for them to go against the Elite. That's all I thought that happened here and what have you. There's nothing memorable about this match. My notes that I put here. The promo was the most entertaining thing about this thing. You know, fellas, if you have a different thought process, hit us with it. Let's go, Diesel.
Like, I want to know one thing, right? How can they just get in their first trio match, the sports entertainers, right? They get in their first trio match, and then they win one match, and they're going to talk about they're the number one contenders. So how does that work?
It doesn't. That's the problem.
Well, it's because they're sports entertainers, right? Mm-hmm. So because they win one match and they're heels and they say we're the number one contenders and we're trios, because it's so many people in that group that can be a trios in that trio. Like, they can do that because they're sports entertainers. They're not professional wrestlers. So now if they say they're the number one contenders, they're the number one contenders. It's basically what they're trying to say. I think. I don't agree with it necessarily, but that's the story they're trying to tell. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm good on that.
They're gonna have the triple threat.
But I'm looking forward to that match. I want to see that. That I do want to see.
Well, it's gonna be the first time we seen on AEW television.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be Jericho with Kenny Omega. I don't think we've seen that on the I know we saw it, pre AEW, but we never saw it on live television. So that might be very much so entertaining. Next is the Dark Order versus Blackpool Combat Club. I mean, John Silver and Alex Reynolds from the Dark Order versus John Moxley versus Claudio Castagnoli, aka Cesaro.
Superman.
So I'm another match. That it really did. It really and truly did. I mean,
and I was confused.
Okay.
Hold on. I didn't understand if they had a backstage segment with Hangman Page where he says, "Oh, the beef is done." I was like, why are they still fighting? Why is this a match?
Exactly.
Why is this a match? You could have instead had maybe AR Fox and Top Flight fight them guys, and then it'd be like, oh, we're gonna be the trios that's in the running for whoever wins the triple threat 9-man Teddy Long match that's happening on Dynamite.
And then I was confused, like, so is the Combat Club
heels?
A heel group now?
Yeah,
they're heels now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. I mean, I guess it probably makes sense because being that Moxley lost to Hangman, so that probably turned him a different way. He got some sour gripes about that. I can't believe I lost to a damn Hangman Adam Page. I'm tight. I'm angry. I'm mad. But now you got Cesaro being come on. Then William Yuta being with them was just I hate that guy. He's the type of guy that wears Toms and corduroy jeans. You know what I mean? Like
with Christian and J. Crew.
Yeah, in a bubble coat. Like, make up your damn mind. Is it hot? Is it warm? Is it? I don't know.
I didn't even know. I mean, my notes on this match is useless. Next is the Main event: Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs for the TNT Championship.
That was a match. Out of every match that happened that night, that was a match.
It's a good way to main event a match. To main event a pay-per-view.
Well, a weekly programming.
Yeah, well, after a pay-per-view. That's what I mean. A weekly programming after a pay-per-view. Like, that's how you ended. It was a match of brute force, mayhem. These kind of guys should be in this kind of a match. You understand what I'm saying? These kind of guys should be in matches like this. I thought it was well produced, except for like the cameraman being like kind of in the way WWE would never see like the other cameraman like filming the other angle. But other than that, you see Powerhouse Hobbs know how to wear some Timbs. I don't know what the fuck. What was his name? Will Bills. What's his name? Big Bill.
Big Bill.
Big Bob.
Yeah, Big Bob. Big Bill. Was
Big Bob.
Big Bob. Big Bob was the DJ at Empire Roller Skating Rink forever. Sorry. Yes.
Throwback.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on with that in particular, but Powerhouse Hobbs know how to wear some Timbs. Wardlow had some wardrobe malfunction, so he had to, have this street fight. It was a dope match. I didn't like the QT Marshall. Like, y'all hinted at QTV, like it was this big mystery, and it's really just QT Marshall, and he's aligning himself up with Powerhouse Hobbs. I felt like Hobbs could have got that win and still been a heel. They did a whole build-up of him with the Book of Hobbs, and telling his story just for him to line up with a QT Marshall. Right. Like, he needs somebody again. That was my only gripe, but shouts out to my wrestler of last week, Will Powerhouse Hobbs, for winning the title.
What's interesting? You know that QT Marshall's the only guy in management. You know that, right? He's the only guy actually in management besides Tony Khan. It's like so he's actually one of the bosses there. It's QT Marshall. So,
that explains it.
So I guess they want to get Hobbs over, but I thought they didn't need QT Marshall. I thought Hobbs did a fantastic job on his own. Just all from bell to bell. This was a solid match. I was very proud of Hobbs in there. With both of their abilities to sell.
Yeah,
both of their abilities to sell in this match was phenomenal. I mean, to see Wardlow do a swanton bomb from the top rope, I was very surprised on that. I said, okay. I said, these guys could go. So I thought this match, I would definitely give it an 8 out of a 10 rating match. Go ahead, Diesel.
God damn. Oh, that was a good match. I'm sorry, fellas. My goddamn camera is fucking up right now. But I liked it. I like how they ended it. I felt like I thought the what you call it was a little botchy. How they ended the match when they threw him through the ground table or whatever the fuck it was supposed to be. But out of the whole night, that was the best match. But I also did not expect for Wardlow to drop his title. That's so soon. I didn't expect that. And that spot where he did with the Swanton Bomb was fucking amazing. It was amazing. Damn, I forgot who says this, but this is just what I like. 2 big, beefy guys just slapping meat, just going at it. You know what I mean?
I hope we're still talking about wrestling.
Yeah, we are. It was just a great show. What a great performance put on by Powerhouse.
Because this show was sounding like it was changing real fast.
And QT Marshall, who we haven't seen in months, just come on right on from the back and just hit Wardlow with a chair. Oh my God.
All right, so that was AEW Dynamite this week. Now, moving on to just skip one day till Friday, right? And it is for WWE SmackDown. This was a very good SmackDown as well because a lot of stories panned out this week. Okay, so it started off with the number 1 contendership for the Intercontinental title match was Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus Karrion Kross versus LA Knight versus Xavier Woods. This match was very entertaining. I would say this match, in my honest opinion, was a 10. Okay, because everybody was on point. I'm just reading, go through my notes. Okay. Okay, yeah, sorry. So the Xavier Woods, my only thing is that why did he stay out so long before he actually came in, right? When he got hit over the rope and he stayed out too long. I guess that was for everybody to work their moves in before he comes in. I think he had a phenomenal showing in this match.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he actually showed out and did his thing in this match. Of course, the match ended in a double win. Okay,
I hated that part.
Yeah, it was very Vince McMahon-esque in the ending of this match. So, but nonetheless, Brandon, thoughts?
I'm gonna have to agree. I definitely liked Xavier Woods. He got to really get a good showing in this match. We also saw some good stuff from Karrion Kross finally, because he's good.
Karrion Kross, yes.
Karrion Kross is good.
As well.
We never said we don't like him. We never said that he doesn't have the potential, but he actually got to get his shit off in this match, right? He got his rocks off, Scarlett was out there. He got his rocks off in this match. So I was like, all right, I'm fucking with this. I kind of now want to see Karrion. I understand that they're both heels, but I kind of want to see Karrion and Gunther go through something, have a program for whatever reason. I kind of want to see that. But as you said, it did end, which we know it's going to probably be a triple threat match at Mania with Drew and Sheamus taking on Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
Sorry, Diesel. Oh, he gave his feedback already?
I thought he did. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Diesel. I'm so sorry.
I didn't. It was a good match. I ain't like how they called it at the end. Like, I ain't want to see that, but we see that Drew and Sheamus has got some type of thing brewing, like saying who's going to become the Intercontinental Champion or who's going to become the contender. I much rather would like to see Sheamus again versus Gunther, especially at a WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Let Drew lose or whatever. But I don't want Gunther to drop that title. It looks so good on him. It looks so, because he's so dominating right now. It's about to be like over like 300 days that he had this title. Well, I think WrestleMania would be like, it will make like is over 300 days that he has the title. But I like him with the title. Karrion Kross he did his thing. He put on a good showing. But like how you said, I much rather I like to see him, Karrion Kross. I want to see him get into something with Bray Wyatt. Those are both heels. I want to see something like that, because they both like dark and ominous. So I want to see some shit like that. I was really going for in this match. I really was going for Xavier. I was going for Xavier. He's the only one out of New Day that didn't have a singles title run. So I thought, like maybe he'll be the underdog, and you know what I mean? Like he'll have his WrestleMania moment, but I guess they had to let Drew and Sheamus get it, I guess. But overall, it was a good match. It was a really good match.
I think it's long-term booking. I think this is Gunther and Cody brewing. But go ahead. We'll talk about that down the line.
So now we got the first Hall of Fame inductee into the 2023 Hall of Fame that's going to be in Los Angeles is Rey Mysterio. Okay, so fellas, what do you think about it? I think it's well deserved. Rey Mysterio actually achieved two. He's going to achieve another status, because he'll be the third wrestler to be active and actually go into the Hall of Fame. Nature Boy Ric Flair, Goldberg, and now him, the third active wrestler going into the Hall of Fame. Well-deserved career for about almost 30 years, from the days of Young Ray in WCW to coming to the WWE back in like 2002 or maybe 2003, jumping on the scene, Royal Rumble winner, world champion, tag team champion multiple times, United States champion, intercontinental champion. I think that Rey Mysterio has done it all. I don't think he has to do anything else. He's actually one of the wrestlers at his age that still can go at top level and at top speed. So that's an amazing feat within itself. He's in the program with his son right now, Dominic, and I think that, even if he wins or loses at WrestleMania, it's still going to put his son into stardom status and then move on. And maybe it's time for Uncle Ray to be in the back and train the younger guys. But I'm going to turn it over to my esteemed colleagues, starting off with Brandon Thought.
Well, that was a good accolade run of Rey Mysterio. I totally agree with you. Well deserved. First thing I did was text my younger brother because that was his nigga. My younger brother used to 619 people to wake him up and shit and do all types of Rey Mysterio. Yeah, like you wake up in the morning, boom, 619. You be like, what the fuck?
No.
He would randomly jump off of like his crib and do like that Rey Mysterio dive. Like that was his nigga. Mm-hmm. So that was my first person I texted. Was like, you see Ray went in, and he's like, yeah, well deserved. With that being said, this story with Dominic, I've said it, I think it was our pilot episode or the episode after that, is that I really think this should lead up to a career-ending match with Dominic ending Rey Mysterio's career and let Dominic move on and be as he's going to be. And as you said, let Ray go on to the back. I'll talk a little bit more about Ray's role in making Legado de Fantasma lose the match when we get there. But Sour Diesel.
Man, what can I say about Ray that y'all didn't already say? Ray is one of the best greats to ever do it. He is a GOAT. He competed with all of the top legends. It is well deserved for him. I'm very happy for him. One of the people that I grew up watching. I grew up watching Rey Mysterio, and to see him still to this day in that ring doing it and not looking no rust on him. If anything, he'll switch it up, but he still got it. Mm-hmm. This will be the proper send off for him once he kicks fucking Dominic's ass at WrestleMania and let him go off into the sunset, man. He deserves it. He deserves it. He had so many accomplishments. And he's one of the first, he's like one of the first Mexicans I've seen that can really dress. Come on, Gucci, Prada, Balenciaga. You know what I mean? All of those things. I love Rey Mysterio. And I want to see who's gonna induct him. You know what I mean?
They said it might be Conan. They said it might be Conan. There's rumors.
Okay, maybe.
What if Conan and or maybe Chavo Guerrero? Somebody that can.
Chavo, isn't Chavo working for AEW now?
No, he left.
Okay,
he left. It'll be great to see one of them induct him the night before, but then the next night show up at WrestleMania and cost him the match, some type of shit. You know how them Spanish people do. Turn their backs on each other, but they get back together.
No.
Okay. I mean, we seen Eddie do it to him. Come on, I'm just going off the storylines of wrestling. Damn it! I'm not talking about real life scenarios.
Well, you could have fooled me.
No, I'm talking about in wrestling. You should see my face right now. I'm totally talking about wrestling.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the match. Okay, is that okay with you, Random Thought? Can I move on from this?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
I don't want to argue about the Latinx community with this nigga right now.
All right. So next on the card was Rey Mysterio. He was in the corner of Legado de Fantasma versus the Judgment Day. So this match here, again, it was, there's so much thoughts I have here, and I kind of want to get through this, but what the hell are they doing with what's her face?
Zelina Vega.
Yes. Why would it's now this kid is coming off a bit racist, fellas. I don't understand how is it possible you just throw this woman in the group because she's Spanish? I don't get it. I was just trying to figure out why is she involved with these people. I don't understand it. I was very confused, but nonetheless,
because they don't have Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
That's their way of remember she was with Andrade.
yeah,
So
I
now
thought she was with Andrade.
so she's with them now. It's like this would be like very Andrade-esque.
Right.
So what happened now is in this match, very very good. It was the match was good overall. I would say it was a B. I mean, I'll give it about a 7. Overall, I didn't like the interference with Ray to cost them the win. I know Brandon thought you wanted to get to speak about that, but I think that the match bell to bell was pretty solid. I'm gonna turn it to Brandon thought.
Yeah. With this match in particular, I think Legado del Fantasma also got to get their rock. What we saw on SmackDown was people who don't normally get their rocks off. They're getting their rocks off a little bit. Like we saw a good showing with Legado del Fantasma, and then on the revert of that, we got to actually see Judgment Day moving like a well-oiled machine. Like they were actually moving like a faction, as opposed to like individuals working together because they're bumping uglies or they're all evil. You understand what I'm saying? So I enjoyed the match. Now, what did throw me off was the fact that Rey Mysterio did kind of assist Dominic. Of course, that's your son. You're always gonna have your son back. Latino, Latinx, Latinos, everybody out there trying to have each other back out there, like us blacks. So. Of course, he's going to be there for his son, but then you turn it around and you have Dominic, who's giving him basically his ass to kiss when he does help him, which is all build up to when Ray finally does snap. And we kind of seen it because Dominic went after him. He didn't just stand there and take the fall. He more or less got out the way and showed him like, yo, I'm still quick. I taught you everything you know. So I thought that was pretty dope.
Diesel.
Solid Diesel.
I think we had spoke about this the other day, you and I, Brandon, about one day Ray is going to finally crack and he's going to whip Dominic's ass. And I think that moment that he's going to crack will probably be like the night before. It's going to probably have to be at I'm guessing
Hall of Fame?
The Hall of Fame ceremony. That's when it's going to happen.
Or SmackDown.
Or SmackDown, either or. But I want to see it. Like this gives me the Kane versus Undertaker vibes. The Owen versus Brett vibes. But this is like father-son type of thing. And it's not and when I say father and son, ladies and gentlemen, I ain't talking about Vince and Shane McMahon type of action here. I'm talking about some real wrestling, right? Between father and son. The father who taught his son all he knows. You know what I mean? Like, and then that same son who got some of his skill set from his uncle Eddie. And then even when he even said that to Ray, like he wished Eddie was his dad. Oh my gosh. I thought that would have been the moment that Ray was going to crack at him. I really thought that, but
I thought so too.
When he went for the try to go and hit him and he missed, it fell out the ring. That gives me like, okay, it's going to happen. But I could wait. I'm patient for this. I'm patient.
Okay. After that, we got to Paul Heyman promo in the back where he said that Cody Rhodes will have to acknowledge once he loses Roman Reigns as the tribal chief. Fellas, any thoughts on it? Perfect promo as usual from Paul Heyman.
Solid Diesel, you wanted to go first? I went,
I was sitting here thinking the other day, like, since Cody has been back, he hasn't lost a match. It hasn't been that many, but he hasn't lost one yet. So if you really think about it, he has more. Well, him and Roman has much of the momentum, right? Because neither one of them lost in a long time. But whichever men lose, who would this have more of an effect on? Right? That's what I was thinking about. But it was a good promo. I liked it. Paul Heyman always can sell some shit off. He's like, how we gonna go at him as a gangster, or I can't remember the other word. Truthful, whatever shit he said. I'll just say that. But it was a good promo. I'm just like I said, this is another match that I'm patiently waiting to see. Like they can just feed me all promos all they want until night 2. But I'm patient. I want to see this match. I'm really scared for both of them. Like who's gonna lose this match? Damn it. I don't know who to go for. Go for.
Random thoughts?
I thought the promo was very good because it added another layer to what it is we are already seeing here, right? With Cody Rhodes having interactions with Paul Heyman. Cody Rhodes had his interaction with Roman Reigns, as we saw. And now it's creating this mystery of, is Cody Rhodes, when he coming in with this heat, will he, if he lose, acknowledge the tribal chief? Of course not, right? But these are just different possibilities that can happen. And every time that WrestleMania is at Hollywood, to me, it's a passing of a torch. When we saw it with 21, right? It was John Cena being crowned champion. It was Batista being crowned champions. So could that be, foreshadowing of we're getting the crowning of a new champion and the dawning of a new day? Right. So that was just what I thought of that. Yeah.
Perfectly said.
Next on the card was the Viking Raiders versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet. Listen,
this better be some long term booking here, because why the fuck is Ricochet in a tag match with some goddamn Braun Strowman? I do not want to see that shit. I don't want to see it. I don't want to. Sports entertainers, right? Ricochet is a sports entertainer, okay? I don't want to see this bullshit. It's pissing me off, man.
What this sounds like to me is what Mashout would call Vince McMahon booking.
I mean, what I think is, we don't got to get into the details of the match, but what I think is, it's long-term booking. One of these two men is going to crack on each other. All right? Somebody's going to get tired of losing, and blame it on one another, and then that's what is going to happen. Probably is going to be Braun. Braun's going to break out and start beating up on Ricochet. This is we're going to have the big man, little man complex, David versus Goliath story. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't have any real comments or thoughts about this match. I just thought it was just fluff for the middle of the show.
I in particular just thought that it was weird with the Valhalla putting a curse. It wasn't even indicated that it was a curse until Barrett or Michael Cole
try to sell it as one.
Yeah, sell it as a curse. So I thought that was weird. Two, if this is not long-term booking of actually Ricochet turning heel and getting a little bit of, grit on him and, forming, like a push for him, then it's to me, it's completely pointless if it's anything.
That was the curse. That was the curse she put on Ricochet. Think about it. I'm gonna curse you. That's when he's gonna start changing and shit, developing new ways. And then they're gonna lose next week again or something. He's gonna take it out on him, and then maybe the booking that you had from a couple of weeks ago, Brandon, where you feel like the little man is gonna get together and cause some havoc. You know what I mean? And Ricochet will be the leader, leading the way on that path. So I think that's what might happen. All right. If that's the direction they're going, I'm gonna pay attention to it.
All right, so moving on. The next one on the card was Charlotte Flair versus Shotzi Blackheart. All right, so you know what? This wasn't a bad match. Let me say this. I don't think it was. I don't think it was a bad match. I wouldn't give it high rating on the list. I don't think it was a bad match.
Listen.
Shotzi Blackheart, I think, has really and truly has bad booking. I mean, I think that she. If there's a right opponent for her, I think she could be good. Okay, that's what I feel. I think Charlotte Flair was a lot for her, trying to keep up. But I think that it wasn't the worst I've ever seen of Shotzi Blackheart. And I also put in my notes here saying that the only way she would have, of course, the only way she would have pyro is if she shoots her own. All right.
So what is she have pyro?
Yeah.
With the T. So for me, I feel like while you're speaking on Shotzi she uses a lot of her energy for her entrance. When you're going against the likes of someone like Charlotte Flair, who can go, I think she should have maybe reserved her energy more for the match. What I do love about Shotzi Blackheart is she has a lot of charisma and she has potential. She's not your typical Asian wrestler. Nothing is like real kabuki warrior. She's not like, the woman of the sun. She has her own she walks to the beat of her own drum. And I've always liked her from NXT. She was a wonderful host one year for Halloween Havoc, and I'll never forget that. One of the best hosts. But for me, I'm going to blame Charlotte for this match. I think maybe Charlotte hasn't been back for a while. She's been away. She's been on her honeymoon. She was married. She's been chilling with Andrade. And I don't like the way she was moving in this match. And I watched it twice to make sure that it wasn't Shotzi. It was more of Charlotte. This match made me say that I know we're not talking about WrestleMania predictions, but I think only one of the women's titles will exchange hands, and I think it's going to be Charlotte's belt. If I can compare Bianca's match with Carmella on Raw versus Charlotte match, being that they're both champions going into Mania to gain momentum, Bianca's match with Carmella was way better than Charlotte and Shotzi.
Right. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, based on piggybacking off of what you said, Brandon, I think is that because Charlotte's the champion, but she hasn't really been there. You know what I mean? She doesn't put on her week after week contests. She's not doing much. She waits till we almost two weeks away from WrestleMania, 2-3 weeks away. Now she wants to show up, and she's just been a little lackluster. I feel like she's like the back pilot at this point right now. She doesn't even really need to be the champion, and that's why come WrestleMania she won't be the champion. We're going to give it to Bloody Rhea Ripley or Rhea Bloody Ripley because she deserves it. She has the energy. She's going to go. She's going to fucking rip arms out of sockets and pop heads off of shoulders. And that's what I want to see from a champion. I want to see a fighting champion. I want to see somebody that's going to be there every week and that's going to give some competition for the rest of the girls in the locker room. And Charlotte doesn't have it. I mean, Charlotte has it. Don't get me wrong. Charlotte has it. But I just feel like her headspace is not in it right now. It's like she's off being married, probably trying to make kids. I think that's probably going to be her next step, trying to have a kid or something. Let her sit out for a little while, but you know what I mean? This match, I wasn't. And Shotzi is very erratic in the ring. She need to slowly calm down. It's not just from her coming out to the ring. It's when she's in the ring also. And going against a Charlotte Flair, she's going to use that against you. That girl is smart in the ring. Her father is Ric fucking Flair. Okay? Let's not get it twisted. Okay? She was raised by a sports entertainer.
All right, so moving on to the promo because that led us right into the promo between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. This promo felt very short. It felt very short. I don't think that Charlotte was in the mindset to give a promo, right then and there. I just think that it just felt very short. Fellas, Brandon, thought.
I think it was really created as a soundbite for their vignette before WrestleMania, like the little video package. I think that was the only reason for the interaction. Other than that, I think it served no purpose. It did for really Jazz E flat hair, but it shows the dominance, as Sour Diesel just mentioned about Rhea Ripley in his description of her. Like, it shows that she's the dominator in this. Yes, Charlotte is the queen. Maybe it is time for Charlotte to pull a Nicki Minaj, go have some babies, go sit down, stop worrying about being the queen, and then come back to us, and we'll be ready for you unless some other people have some shine. That's what it looked like to me.
Diesel?
Yeah, just like Brandon said, I feel like it's based off of just a little soundbite, trying to create something before the actual show, so we could put this in there with the footage from 3 years ago and whatever's been leading up to now. Because right about now, we should be seeing hair pulling, fist fights, kick to the jaws. That's what I want to see. Anytime it's a fucking WrestleMania match coming up, and especially it's for the championship, I want to see brawlouts, and titty fallouts. That's what I want to see. Okay.
Okay, so now we're at the end of the show, and this is where now Jimmy and Jay came out to discuss why Jay actually did what he did on Monday night and turned his back on Sami Zayn, where we were waiting to hear from him the entire time. So this fallout ended up happening that I think Jay took way too long to get to the point, though. That's my only critique about this promo. He took way too long to get to the point. And it ended up that they called out Cody Rhodes because they're like, we moved on from Sami Zayn. Cody Rhodes is who we're on now. Cody Rhodes come out. We already know it's the end of the show. So now we got to move relatively quickly, to get to the point. Then out of nowhere, Sami Zayn comes, attacks Jimmy Uso. Cody Rhodes runs into the ring. When he runs into the ring, he gets on Jay. They take it outside. Jimmy and Sammy, go over the commentators table, and then Cody and Jay is, amongst the fans and the crowd doing their thing. Then Jimmy gets the upper hand, beats the shit out of Sammy. Sammy miraculously gets up, runs to give chase. Then they're back there attacking, Cody. Then they all got back to the ring and then threw everybody over the ropes. And then it stood tall at Cody and Sammy. So I like this, but I don't see. I would have rather have seen Kevin Owens. That's who I would have rather have seen come do this move, because I know we have to get Cody in somewhere on the show. I know this. We have to get Cody in somewhere on the show, but I thought it would have made more sense with Kevin Owens. Brandon, thoughts?
So first off, since we didn't really cover Raw because it was in the smoking section, a lot of the main parts, but even the interaction on Raw, I think we can probably see a setup between Cody Rhodes taking on possibly like a solo Sikoa, like just to gain momentum going into WrestleMania, maybe on Raw or something. To allude to the Kevin Owens part, I think this is still something that they're building up, maybe possibly Raw coming up this week or the next following SmackDown. So once again, like I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, is this a lead up to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn taking on the Usos for, of course, the undisputed tag titles. I thought the segment was really good. It infused Cody Rhodes because now Cody Rhodes is kind of fucking with Roman family. You understand what I'm saying? Now you fucking with my mans and I'm fucking with my cousin. Like, we already got beef. We gonna fight. But then now I come home from work and I hear you was fucking with my cousin in school at 3:00. So now I gotta come and check you. So I think this just added to that a little bit more. That's why they did use Cody Rhodes to have more scenes of Cody Rhodes interacting with the bloodline. So with these,
I feel like this is going to be. I feel like this is going to be lead up to a three-way. You know what I mean? It's going to be Cody, Sammy, right before WrestleMania, right? It's going to be Cody, Sammy, and Kevin versus Solo, Jimmy, and Jay. That's what I feel like that's going to happen with that. Then I also feel like Cody minding the Bloodline's business is just another way of a distraction for Roman. It's another distraction for Roman because he got to worry about Kevin. He has to worry about Sammy. Now you got to worry about Cody fucking with your family. You know what I mean? You worrying about family. You worrying about family shit. You need to be worrying about you and Cody shit. You need to be worrying about your championships that's going on the line that you might lose. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's where your attention needs to lie. And then not only that, it's going to take a while for Kevin to get on board because he's not messing with Sammy like that. But keep in mind, I don't know if you've seen on Raw on the other day when it was a segment where it was Elias and Boogs in the back. Talking with your boy, talking with my boy Bronson Reed. You seen in the background Cody talking to Kevin. So you know what I mean? Maybe that's Cody trying to put some sentences into Kevin's mind and try to patch things up between Sammy and Kevin. So and then it did take long enough. It did take a little long for Jay to get to the point, but god damn it, we got here. And it also is telling me like he don't want to be there, but the only reason why he's there is for his brother. His brother
I told
really
y'all that. I told y'all that.
Really has more than Roman. You know what I mean? So he didn't want his brother to get in trouble for the shit. So you know what? I'm here for my brother. That's the only reason why I'm here. And then who knows? Jay might be the next leader up to the bloodline when Roman have to step down when he loses those championships. That's what I think.
I agree.
And that's it for this week's Turntable Talk. Random thoughts.
Yes. Well,
it's up to you now.
Now it's time to transition into the 3 count, which is our topic. And I was sitting on the topic. We had a little conversation during our production meeting. We're breaking the fourth wall again here. We do have production meetings, real ones. And we were talking about
sometimes it feels like we actually don't, but that's okay.
I thought every week we have one. Come on.
We do.
Gotta be Kane.
That I think that Brandon caught that.
I did. But nonetheless, we did get into a conversation about. It's all right. You'll catch up. You're gonna catch up like mustard. You're gonna catch up definitely. This week we were talking a little bit. We got into a discussion about the women, and we were already talking about like Ruby Soho as we discussed earlier. And we was talking about women, and I said, you know what? This is Women's HERstory Month. Women's International Day was just this past week, so maybe us here at the Three Kings. Oh, that's a good name. The Three Amigos show should start discussing a little bit about what we think about the impact of women, the history of women, going all the way back to when, Julius Caesar and them was fighting at the Colosseum and Moolah was around.
Oh, shit. Oh, my gosh. You got the dust off that. Ding.
So I wanted to open up the conversation here at the Three Amigos show about the impact of women that they've had, right? They've played several roles. For a long time, we have seen them, mostly be known as valets, being very pretty, and then it just, of course, evolved. Like the women's revolution didn't start in 2015, 16 after Paige and Emma was taking on Nikki and Brie Bella and the entrances were longer than the goddamn matches. No, there has been a long lineage and a history of women in professional wrestling. So I wanted to open up the conversation to that. One, I know you just talked a lot, Mashable. So I wanted to toss it over to you talking about the fabulous Moolah, right? Because she was one of the longest reigning women's champions ever.
She was the longest.
She was. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She was very what's the word I'm looking for? Innovative in terms of women's wrestling, not what she did in the ring, but how she ran the business. Let's talk a little bit about that. Dark side of the ring, right?
Yes. Moolah. So here's something interesting, right? So I always knew this about Fabulous Moolah because many years ago I read something that Wendy Richter wrote about Fabulous Moolah, right? This is like before before everything was exposed about who Moolah was. And Wendy Richter made Moolah out to be an extreme narcissist, right? And she never wanted to see anybody do better than her. And she was very polarizing and very controlling. And the interesting part about it was not till we got to the darker side of the ring episode is where we understood how bad Moolah truly was. And now let's talk about her good things. Okay, so let's talk about her good things. So one thing you can't take away about Moolah was Moolah made women's wrestling as a forefront in synonymous, as a forefront in wrestling because of her matches against many people. Now, before Moolah, I cannot remember the woman's name. It's driving me nuts, and this is me not doing my research. There was a former women's champion that was a champion from the 1930s all the way up to the 1950s when Moolah started professionally wrestling. Now, Moolah put it on the map from working for Vince McMahon's father, Vincent K. McMahon Sr. However, when Moolah decided to go into business and decide to start training female wrestlers, this is where the diciness came in with Moolah, because Moolah was trying to open up a camp for female wrestlers because there wasn't a place, right? This was 1950s United States, 1960s United States. Women were not put to the forefront in anything. Right. So Moolah decided, and her husband decided to open up their wrestling school. But unfortunately, for a good 30-year run, Moolah decided to take advantage of the female wrestlers as well. And, because, again, male-dominated business, Moolah had to do a lot of business with promoters and things like that. So Moolah, in order to get her women, I don't want to use girls because I think that's derogatory in a sense, to get her women to be put on to the shows, she had to offer up the women as sexual favors. Okay? She was abusive to them. She beat them. She actually had her husband rape some of the women. What is this black woman's name? I cannot remember her name right now. I'm so sorry, fans. So Moolah's husband is actually the father of this woman's first child, right? And because Moolah's husband raped the woman. Now, that's not alleged. That is a fact. Okay. Now, take all that, right, and put that to the side. Moolah was the world champion for a very long time. And she did wrestle a lot of different women and made names for them. However, very Hulk Hogan-esque, she always had to come out on top. And because she came out on top, she buried a lot of women as well. However, it wasn't until the 80s where she went against Wendy Richter, and Wendy Richter actually became the WWE Women's Champion. That's when the title started to change. But because Moolah, the narcissist she is, said something to Vince, she came back as the champion one more time, right? She came back at WrestleMania 1 where she had her face hidden. No one knew it was her, but that big frumpy white ass, you knew that was supposed to be, you like there was nobody else that could have been but the fabulous Moolah. Now, and then she ended up losing her title. So then let's move on to Mae Young. Okay. Mae Young also, was a great women's champion. Okay. Yes. Even though she never held the title as much as Moolah did. However, she did clean cut, legit business. Now, believe it or not, their paths never crossed till the WWE.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
They ran parallel to each other, but their paths never crossed till the WWE. However, Mae Young put people over. She was very good at what she did in terms of that. We also have different wrestlers as well, right? Different female wrestlers. Wendy Richter, Medusa, and what have you. They were wrestlers.
Right.
What ended up happening in the 90s, the women became valets as opposed to actual wrestlers. So now you have people like, who Sherry Martel. Sherry Martel to me is the greatest female manager of all time. Okay. Rest in peace to sensational Sherry. Sherry, I think, was a phenomenal wrestler and a great manager. She knew how to take bumps. She made it look real. She knew how to be, a real heel. And I think she was fantastic at that. Miss Elizabeth, God rest her soul as well. Became a was a valet. Miss Elizabeth, transcended kind of the valet role a little bit because she actually was involved with more storylines. She wasn't there as a beautiful face. But it wasn't till the 90s where we started to see female wrestling come back. Also rest in peace to Luna Vachon as well, who went from transition from a manager's role into a professional wrestler's role. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you haven't seen her Darker Side of the Ring episode, you really should see it. She has a very sad life, and things like that. But I'm gonna turn it over. I just want to give everybody the backstory first, and then I'll turn it back to Random Thought and Cool Solid.
Can I just add in real quick? I believe from a time period it wasn't a women wrestling had like kind of stopped. It was going on elsewhere, but like I think the last women match we seen was like Alundra Blaze, right, in WWE. That's when she went to WCW, dropped the title or whatever. But then in my first women's match, right, because I was always watching the guys wrestle, whatever. I believe it was Luna Vachon, right, versus Sable. And I think that was my first women's match, or am I thinking that was the first women's match to really start back up women's wrestling in WWE? Because if I'm not mistaken, then her and Luna Vachon had a match at WrestleMania.
It was a mixed tag match. It was Goldust and Luna versus Mark Merrill and Sable, and that's when Sable first did the Sable Bomb. And
that was WrestleMania 14 or something like that.
Yep, definitely WrestleMania 14.
WrestleMania 14, and then after that, that's when we started having women's matches again.
Right.
And when I saw that, I was like, wow, because I wanted to see something new, and that was something new for me.
I don't know if you guys got a chance to during Superstar Sunday to check out the China story.
Knife Woman.
I did not.
I didn't get to see that. I'm gonna watch that right after this.
Okay. We can have a discussion about that then next week. I think did you guys see the dark side? You saw the dark side of the ring?
Yes, I did see that. Yes.
Okay. So the difference between them, they told two parallel stories, but what you get to see in this one is the closeness of relationship she had with people like with Mick Foley and Nolise Foley. They definitely do address the whole Triple H finding letters at home from Stephanie McMahon and being attracted to Triple H and her being blacklisted out of WWE. And you kind of see Mick Foley kind of having a sense of regret, like he should have maybe gave her a call and reached out to her a little bit. They talked about a lot of different stuff on here. What I didn't like was her manager or whoever was in control of her when she died, basically like did this whole kind of like reality show that was supposed to be mirroring like Jake the Snake's life show he did. And what it was triggers for Joni. Like it triggered her and it sent her off the deep end. I am a somewhat conspiracy theorist, and I just think that her death was a little bit janky. What was different between Dark Side of the Ring and this was these people had actual stories of like how China was motherly to their kids, or like how she was motherly to Shawn Michaels. Like he's on there and he was like, yo, she was always like a mom figure. She would always be like, Shawn, like just those little type of stories that they did not have in Dark Side of the Ring. Dark Side of the Ring relied on dirt sheets and stories that was all in tabloids and went with just the porn story and made that the meat and potatoes. of their thing, as opposed to telling the whole China story with her relationship with her sister and how they went to a wrestling match dressed up with blonde wigs and tried to get attention at first. Like, it was definitely a good story. And why I brought up China while we're talking about women's wrestling is because, to me, she was like the first one we were seeing really get innovative, like how she shook Marlena, which they highlighted. And we see Terry Reynolds in this. Terry Reynolds is in this one, looking cray-cray. Your girl look crazy, yo.
I definitely gonna watch it. I recorded it. I haven't watched it yet.
I remember when she did that.
Yes, and it was Terry Reynolds' idea to shake her like a rag doll. She shares that. You guys got to watch it. It's really, really. I thought it was really good.
I remember first seeing that I was so scared for. I'm like, who is this woman? Like, who is she? Like, so strong and like,
right.
No disrespect. I'm sorry, Joni China. Look at, like, we all thought she was a man. You know what I mean? And forget and to going back on that, I know.
Did they address Nicole Bass too? Because I always wondered whatever
happened.
Oh my
God, I remember Nicole Bass.
Well, they addressed it in a way, if you pay close attention, when they state like how when China first came in, she was the only woman that looked like her, and then they tried to find other people. Like, there's one picture that they do flash of like back in the day, and is Nicole Bass in it in China. So just check it out. Don't blink, you'll miss it. But they don't cover Nicole Bass like she's a whole part of like China career and why they did. And they talks about like China's insecurity and why she went to get the surgery to be a little bit more appealing, and why she got into bodybuilding, and how she was really trained by Killer Kowalski, and how she walked in with her boyfriend. Yeah. Right, to rest in peace to Killer Kowalski, and how she walked in and really wanted to be a wrestler, and how she just really got caught up. They talk about X-Pac is on there, like X-Pac is
on there. The same person Triple H got trained by. Now, isn't that something?
Right. And how she fought her way through, how she was the only woman to compete in the King of the Ring. We always talk about her being the Intercontinental Champion and being in the Royal Rumble and throwing out the world's strongest man, and how she had to actually fight for everything it is that she had. We thought it was a given because she was with DX, right? A lot of times once, Triple H left her wayside, she had to like really prove herself, and then putting her in matches with girls like Ivory and, Lita, although she wanted the women's wrestling to continue and have a legacy. So she did the work and did the business. It was like no competition, because she went from fighting Jeff Jarrett and Chris Jericho to Ivory, and no disrespect to Ivory, who was one of the ladies from Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, Glow, yep. Right? Glow Wrestling, and was now here in WWE while I was transitioning. It was still like, they was like, her demeanor that we saw on TV when it was like nonchalant when she would do the slam was, basically how she really felt. It was like, there was no competition.
It's interesting when you talk about China, because at that time, women wrestling in the WWE was still gimmicky. So yes. It was still like a time where they didn't really take it seriously. And China was one of the first people, along with a Trish Stratus, and a Lita, that actually wanted to turn this into something. But unfortunately, the WWE didn't have the foresight at that time. But the reason why they didn't have the foresight at that time, I think, is because they were white hot with everything else that was going on. Like, everything they was touching was turning to gold, right? Because you had 1998 was the year where it really transcended professional wrestling, because we had the run of Stone Cold Steve Austin. No disrespect to The Rock, but if it wasn't for Stone Cold, professional wrestling in terms of the WWE would not exist today. So you had all of that going on at that time. So it would have been very hard, for women's wrestling to actually be looked at as something. That's where the WCW actually did better, because the WCW actually did promote women's wrestling at the time. I
can't remember a woman wrestler in there.
They did. They had Rhonda Singh, Patty Stone Grinder, Kimberly Page. Remember Diamond Dallas Page?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
They had Paisley, Stacy Keibler, and Tori Wilson is from WCW.
Yeah, Missy Hyatt. What were they in matches or were they the Nitro?
No,
Girls?
they were in
They
matches.
were in matches.
Yeah, they were in matches.
So, that's where I will always give credit to Eric Bischoff because he was the one that promoted stuff like that. The WWE, everything was built around Stone Cold in 1998. Like basically Stone Cold would begin the show and end the show. You remember the Raws back then. You know what I'm saying? So, if they used to cut away in the women's match to show Stone Cold driving to the arena. Like it was just like that's the stuff that they would do. So it wasn't like till maybe 2002, 2003 where we actually saw the women getting the rub that they should have gotten back then. And then at that time, China was already transitioning out of the company.
2002, 2003, they still was doing like bra and panty matches.
Not as much as they were in the 90s.
You know what it was? Awesome Kong, she's on China's thing as well. She speaks a lot, and she was close to China, and she takes China's death or Joni Lee's death really, really, really hard. And she explains about how the bra and panty matches were the popcorn matches. It's like when you go to the bathroom or go to get popcorn. And when China would come on, it was offering something very different, because she was getting involved and how sexist the men were, like how it was guys who literally said, Mick Foley is who tells the story, that it was a guy who said he didn't want to do the business. Like, she's not low blowing me. She's not hitting me with a chair, and how they had to incorporate making a guy that she would attack not look weak and also make China look strong. And it wasn't until she did that move with Triple H. I think that was King of the Ring when she threw Mankind into the stairs and he hits his foot on the stairs. And then after that, guys were willing to do the business with China. Not to bring it back to China, but it was just how innovative she was on so many levels and putting women over like Lita and Trish and Trash Stratus. I'm not a fan, but for what it is,
Don't do that to Trish. Don't do that to Trish. Don't do that to Trish. Because Trish was one of those people. Trish was one of those people where she was just like a pretty face, right? And she was that was a time when she was the manager of 3D, right? And we just thought she would just want to just be, here she comes. She's just gonna be another bra and panty girl. But she elevated her game into becoming a real woman's wrestler. So we're not gonna give her that. We're not gonna treat her talking about she's some trash Stratus. That is Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus is GOAT. Okay.
She is. I would agree with that. She is. She's the GOAT. She's the GOAT.
She's the GOAT.
I think that over the next few weeks we could still delve more into the evolution of women's wrestling. Especially because I think we have 3 more Sundays or maybe 2 more Sundays. Before WrestleMania. So I think we could delve a little bit more into it. But the main thing is that the women this time around are more prevalent than they were ever, than they ever were.
They're a part of every segment on wrestling nowadays. Maybe not so much over at AEW, but definitely over in the WWE. They're part of every segment in different forms, from referees to ring announcers to everything. They're the business now. You know what I mean? They got 3 and 4 segments where they were 3 minutes on the show to now main event in Raw, main event in premium live events, having 3 and 4 matches and stories that's interesting on, so we can dive a little bit more in, and maybe, I don't know, open it up to women listeners out there. If you are, women and into women wrestling, feel free to hit us up and chime in, see what it is you want to talk about. I'm cool with that. Open up the conversation with women,
not just women who's just into women wrestling, women who's into wrestling point blank period, and you want to touch, and if you want to touch on women wrestling, cool. But if you're interested in women wrestling period, then come on and give us your input. See what let's hear what you have to say, because it will be interesting to hear another opinion other than from a guy's point of view. We want to hear from the women, because I remember watching wrestling with my sisters, and it used to be fun. We used to have fun. She's like, one of my sisters used to hate when when a Rock, Rikishi, when he used to do the stinky face. So they loved it, but then they hated it because when it was about to happen to The Rock, I remember my sister screamed at the TV, "No! Don't do it!" They were just so scared for The Rock to get the stinky face. It was just so funny, Watching wrestling with my sisters, it was really fun. Really, really fun.
All right.
Yeah, that's exactly what I kind of meant to say, but I was on the whole spiel about women's wrestling. So specifically, that's what we would ask them about and see their feedback, because that's what we're covering is women's wrestling. That's the topic.
I just want to get into this real quick. This just in. I don't know if you've heard about this. They're trying to legalize scripted legalize the scripted gambling in WWE. Like, you heard about that? They're going to gamble on a
betting on betting.
Yeah. What y'all think about that?
I mean, you have it for legit other sports. You have it for, hockey. You have it for basketball. You have it for all the other sports. I'm more than okay with it. I'm hearing wrestlers won't really know the finish until right before they go through the curtain, basically, which I think brings a little bit more excitement to the product, where things aren't so predictable and there aren't so many dirt sheets assuming this, that, and the third. So it kind of takes it a little bit back to the essence of wrestling, depending all on your perspective. So that's my opinion on it. I'm looking forward to it. I love me a little betting, and I feel like I know wrestling well enough to win me some change.
Exactly. I don't know about them other sports, but me betting on some wrestling, you could take my money. Take my money.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now it's going to be very unpredictable.
Yes.
Now it's going to be very unpredictable.
I mean, come on. If you know wrestling, wrestling,
pretty
much. If this was like within the last year, and if this would have happened, I would have won me some change. A lot of freaking change.
Well, shit,
I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, me too. While we were talking about women, I wanted to shout out Ethel Johnson, right? Or also known as Rita Valdez. She made her wrestling debut at 16, and she was one of the first Black women's champion, and she was known for being the hit girl in wrestling since Girl Wrestling Hit. That was the tagline. So I really did want to shout her out in terms of talking about women's wrestling.
How old is she? 89?
She's 100 and something. She's old now. I'm going. She's not here. She's not with it. She's in a big turnbuckle in the sky.
Okay, because the name Ethel Johnson. I know they ain't know somebody new right now going on. But Ethel Johnson. Coming to the ring.
We should start naming people with old names again. That was on social media.
Coming to the ring. Ethel Johnson. And then I guess her ring music must have been by Sam Cooke. It's been a long time coming.
We'll talk more and dive more into women's professional wrestling as our 3 count. Let's move on to what do you guys think is your wrestler of the week? Like every other week, there's been a lot of wrestling. There's been a lot of things going on. I'm going to start out with you, Mash Out King. Who is your wrestler of the week?
I'm going to go this week with, believe it or not, Sami Zayn. I feel that Sami Zayn getting beat up on Monday, coming back on Friday, and having a good showing, he is my wrestler of the week.
Okay. Big Daddy Cool Sour Diesel. Who is your wrestler of the week?
You know who my wrestler of the week is? The Big Papi. The Big Papianos. Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, I was going to say Damian
Priest.
Right.
Dominic Mysterio, baby. That's my guy. I'm sticking with him.
My wrestler of the week is going to be a chip off the old block. It's going to be Bianca Belair. Once again, her match with Carmella was definitely decent. She made Mella look like money in a match on this past Raw. You compare her match, like I said, with what Charlotte had on SmackDown. Bianca Belair shows up. She's at the Celtics game. She's outside. She's making appearances. She's really making a fit in for being the female face, not just the black female face, but the female face of wrestling. So I'm gonna go with Bianca Belair, definitely.
Unpopular opinion for me, but get a little tired, tired.
Yeah, because you want more Liv Morgan.
I'm getting a little sleepy.
Who was also at a basketball game as well.
Right.
Listen. I love Bianca. I love her. I just need a little something more from her. She's trying to give me John Cena. And I know that she's the John Cena of wrestling, of female wrestling, but god damn it. I'm just so tired.
Brandon, you want to take it away?
No, no, you ain't gonna leave with that shit. You just sat here and did a whole shtick about Trash Stratus, but then gonna say you tired of Bianca Belair. I'm tired of Trash Stratus returning and being part of WrestleMania. But we'll talk about all that and more next week on the Three Amigos show.
Bianca Belair will be doing that next in a few years anyway. So you gonna be tired of her too when she keeps coming back? Because I am the EST. I put the EST in WrestleMania, okay?
First of all, you can't spell WrestleMania without EST. Get it?
Whatever.
Right. All right.
EST.
With that being said, when her and Montez Ford is a power couple, we'll revisit all this conversation as they are. So, with your last words, anybody final thoughts? Smash out.
Listen, great show as usual. You know, doing the show with you guys is always an amazing experience. And I look forward to doing it next week. Make sure you follow us on all social media at the Three Amigos Podcast. And any thoughts, comments, concerns, email us at the Three Amigos Podcast 1 at gmail.com. The Three Amigos Podcast 1 at gmail.com. I look forward to another week in the great world of professional wrestling.
Sour Diesel, Stacks Fifth Ave. Final thoughts.
RS Stacks Fifth Ave. Thank you. The final thoughts is, ladies and gentlemen, it's Sunday. Get your asses up. Make some Sunday dinner. If it's something good, send me a plate. You see, my name is RS Stats Fifth Ave. That's on my IG. Let me know what you're cooking. I want some mashed potatoes. No. I want some potato salad and some barbecue ribs. Maybe a little bit of fresh spinach and some cornbread. Hit me up if you're making that. And I'll bring over this little bottle of tequila. Tequila Españolos. Okay.
Good. Thank you so much for your final thought. I thought you would want kale and a little salad, like Trash Stratus over Bianca Belair. But that's another conversation. This show
be good this week.
Yeah, my random thought is going to be this show is like my favorite bottle of cognac. It's best shared with my friends, and you guys are my friends, and all of you out there listening are our amigos and amigas and our friends out there, and that is the random thought. So the bottom line is always the $. It's been another great week. We appreciate seeing what we got coming forward with professional wrestling or sports entertainers.
Yeah.
That's gotta be Kane. Cocaine.
Bye, guys.
Later.